radio.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Welcome to radio.
No, yeah, I think you have a future in that for sure.
I know. I did radio for a while. Oh,
I
I
know.
did, and I actually had a part on a radio show for 1 week.
Briefly.
For 1 week,
Yeah.
just before the corona hit.
It was splendid.
It was amazing, and they said that I was the best they'd ever seen. No, that's not true.
Yeah,
But
did
that's
they
just,
though?
Okay, Trump.
I know. They said
Simply, it was the best.
They said it was the best performance they've ever seen.
I wish.
But no, it's not true. But I hope we'll get back to doing that radio show when this whole mess is
Yeah.
over. I think the hosts are actually not even doing them. They're doing it from home.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're
one-
separate in their homes.
That's
yeah.
I
craziness.
think one passed away.
Oh gosh,
that's not true.
That's not true.
No?
You know, I did want to.
station.
I want to start right off the rip
Mm.
with the fact that someone had mentioned, can Lori go even a day without drinking wine? And this is an interesting thing, right? Is because first off, Lori, really, you don't drink much. I mean, seriously, you drink on Wednesday nights when we do the podcast because it's just kind of our thing, right?
Yeah.
Lori with wine and stuff like that. But and the rest of the time, you might drink one day a week, one night a week, not
Yeah,
even
it
a
just
day.
depends how bad
Yeah, it's never
day
in
or
the
week
day.
is.
Yeah, it depends. How
It
bad
depends on the day.
Exactly.
Depends on the day. Yeah.
If it's a real bad day, she's bringing out that big one that says horrible day. Like, it's like the cup that can fit the whole
Yeah.
bottle.
Yeah, the whole bottle.
Yeah,
the whole
that's a good
bottle,
one.
Yeah.
It's just like
But
horrible.
my point is that this reminds me of remember Mark Bailey from Bailey, just from Mark Bailey Reptiles or
Yep,
whatever
I know
up,
who
in,
you're
up
talking
in Minnesota. Great guy, by the way. I remember every time I saw him at a reptile show, he was
Oh, yes.
hammered.
Yes.
You know, like all the time
Yeah.
he was hammered. So I just assumed the guy was a lush, you know?
Yeah.
And so I remember one night I was talking to him, and it was one of the first times. This was like 12 years after every time I saw him, he was hammered, and he was sober. And he was like, "Yeah, he goes honestly, the only time I drink is at reptile shows."
Yeah.
He said, and I just decided I'm going to stop drinking because he got into CrossFit and stuff like that. And I said, the problem is, Mark, is that I only see you hammered, so I assume you're hammered 365 days a year. So I think it's the same perception here, right?
Yes.
Is because you drink wine on the podcast, people assume you have a wine problem.
Well,
That's.
is it a problem?
Yeah, it's not really
I don't think
a
it's that problem. Look at Italy, all them people are really old. They drink the red wines and stuff. They live
Yeah.
to old age.
And that is true. It's not like I'm sitting on here getting smashed.
Not
Right.
now.
Well,
Some
sometimes,
nights. Some nights.
sometimes.
You went through a bottle and a half a couple times.
But I wasn't smashed.
Well, I had to drive you home.
You lost some articles of your.
Oh yeah, you lost your phone. You lost your phone.
Put your phone in the doggy shit bag section.
Yeah, you put your phone in the dog shit section.
I was not smashed. I was feeling good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
for
so
sure.
you know what is interesting about what you just said about the old people drinking a glass of wine, and the saying I think is that a glass of red wine a day can keep you healthy. But I think what it really is
Wait, that's the saying.
well, I think
that's
that's what
That's
people
his
say.
saying.
That's I may have just made that up.
It doesn't have a good ring to it.
But the point is, I think it's not the wine. I think it's the antioxidants in the grapes. So you could eat red grapes and probably
No.
be better than drinking
There's
wine.
something with the fermentation.
Fermentation?
The
yes,
fermentation,
That also
the
is.
alcohol.
Jay, can you look that shit up for me really quick? Is that has to be a wives' tale? I just can't
I don't think
believe
so.
it for
You're
a
not going to
second.
get the same benefits just eating the
Well,
red grapes.
The same benefits as far as being drunk. I agree.
No. Yeah.
But the same
Well,
benefits
well,
to health.
That's the health benefit. It's getting drunk.
Let's see. Red wine in moderation has long been thought to be heart healthy. The
Yes, it
alcohol
is.
in certain substances of red wine called antioxidants may actually help prevent coronary artery disease, the condition that leads to heart attacks. Any links between red wine and fewer heart attacks aren't completely understood. So I guess you're right.
Yeah.
So-
and nowhere in there said, or just
Yeah.
eat red grapes.
Yeah.
So this is what that meant. This means that it could potentially be, but we just haven't studied it yet.
Yeah.
They
So,
haven't found
keep
any
drinking.
adverse.
Yeah. Just
You know,
keep
just keep
drinking.
drinking
Just keep drinking until you get
until they tell us otherwise.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to defend my wife and tell everyone that you're not a wino.
Oh, thank you, hon. But I don't need you to defend me.
I know you don't need me
Look
to.
at
but
look at
it's-
these guns. You think she needs your defense?
Yeah. Speaking of which, speaking about those guns, what should we Google her?
No,
No. Okay. Don't Google her.
Thank you.
But
Don't go
no.
with me.
We'll just make the problem worse.
Yeah.
Which we just did because you said
Yeah,
it.
because now everyone's gonna be like, "Let's Google
Good
her."
job.
Oh shit.
Noah said, can I say it or no?
I mean, you already said it, so might as well.
Noah said that when you Google Lori Barczyk, the first thing that comes up is bodybuilder.
Yeah.
No way.
I just think
really?
it's really
Not
funny.
true.
I think it's really funny. Yeah, Jay, give it a shot.
Give it a
Okay,
shot.
okay.
Okay,
Pump
just go Lori Barczyk.
Type
and let's
in
see what
Lori Barczyk.
It says Instagram.
And one of the first things. Oh wait, no. It's in the.
No. Not
So-
that. You got to just
So go
see,
back.
You got to just see what
You
what
go
it
into
comes
the
up.
search bar.
Yeah, go into the search bar
and click
and then
space
see
bar.
what it
You
is.
see
Yeah,
where-
see bodybuilders right down there. It says net worth, age. Wait a second. Let's see what her net worth
yeah,
is. I want
yeah,
to see
yeah.
what this is.
Oh,
Let's see.
1 to 5 mil. Okay. All right.
Damn, you broke. Yo, do us a favor.
Yours
I want
is
to
the
know
best,
where it
Noah.
is.
Yo, check out how much fucking money I got. I'm rich.
Oh wait. Whoa, you lost money.
No,
Damn, wait,
We're
no,
at
click
40
that
It's
one.
right here. It's right
Yeah,
here.
this is it right here. Oh wait, no, that's not
No,
it
it's
either.
not. Hold on. I know it's somewhere.
Oh.
You used to be worth 40 mil. Now
There's
you're
the-
only
oh
worth-
wait, I saw
no,
it.
I see it down. Yeah,
It was
go
the
down
next
there.
one.
Yep.
This one?
50 mil.
mil.
Hell yeah, that's right, everybody. You see that? Updated March 15th. I have 50 mil in the bank.
It's so
Look at
funny
me,
because
bitch.
I think Brian, you and I were on a road trip somewhere when we like looked it up and we actually seen that. We're like, wow,
Yeah.
that kid's doing well.
I know you
Hell
were
yeah.
way more high end than I was.
Yeah, I'm
I was
just-
like
He was more
2.5
than
mil
you.
or something like that.
I'm just capitalizing on my opportunity.
Yeah,
That is
it's
true.
obviously
50
that works.
milli.
Yeah,
You know,
that's good. But
something
you know, really, does money
light.
do anything for you? Really?
Not if you're not happy.
Exactly. And that's my whole
That
point.
is
in
true,
life,
and
yeah.
that's what wine does. It makes you happy.
Wine makes me happy.
It can make you happy.
I wish I could drink.
You can drink. Here, give him that
No, I
glass
don't
right
like-
there.
I
Take a
don't
little sip.
like. I just don't like the way it makes me feel.
Well, maybe today will be different.
It's possible. It's possible, but probably not.
That's what they say in science, right? There's like this certain law in science where that even though you've done a experiment, let's say 100 times,
Yeah.
on the 101th time, it may have a different
There's
outcome.
always
Yep.
I love the one.
possibility.
The one.
The one time.
The one time.
That's what they taught me in school. 101.
101. No,
What
that's
it- wait,
true.
what the fuck is it?
I think it would be
101st.
101 is okay.
Oh shit! You're right, man. I'm fucking so stupid. You know, it's all good
Nah,
though.
what did Edison say, right? He didn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't one, he didn't figure out one way to make electric bulb, but he filled out a 1,000 ways not to. or
Not to.
something.
No, yeah, that's what he said.
Something,
Something like
that
that,
was
yeah.
probably
That's
a really
what he-
bad.
No, you,
you know.
pretty much nailed it right on the head.
Yeah.
You took the hammer and hit the nail right on the head right there.
What do we got here? We got Mike is already in the house, man. Mike, the jeweler guy. What's
Hey,
going on?
Mikey.
Yeah, he says, hey, sup, guys? I'm 9 hours into a 13-hour drive to Illinois for
What
some
the f-
jewelry cases.
Jesus, have you heard there's a pandemic out there?
He doesn't know.
Dude, Mike,
Mike, bro.
hook it up, bro.
You're bringing your shit all over the country now, man.
Let me
It's
Now I'm just
Illinois.
messing with you. I love you, dude.
send me the deets on the mission. I'll be there.
Yeah, let's. I want to go on a mission. Let's go. Let's just
A mission.
something like let's
Yeah,
go to Florida, man. They're having fun in Florida.
They are
You know,
having
they're
fun in
having
Florida.
fun
Not
down
until
there.
Disney
Yeah.
opens. I'm not
I heard
going
Disney
back.
is talking about opening. Disneyland is going to be
When?
closed for the year, but
What?
Disney World they're saying is going to reopen sometime.
When?
I don't know
So
when.
they're saying sometime. I just actually read an article
Oh, that's
today
good.
about it because
Oh.
Shanghai
That's good.
is actually
Sometime.
opening.
Thank you.
Next week.
Yeah.
and they were going to see how
How
everything
everything
went
went
with
with
that,
Shanghai.
and then help them to plan how
Yeah.
and when they're going.
Well, Shanghai's interesting. We actually were the opening year, the grand opening year for Shanghai Disney.
Yeah, it was
we
only a
went
couple
to.
months.
Yeah, a couple months. So it was definitely a very different Disney experience in China than it is in the States. It's like they didn't quite get it yet. You know what I mean? Like, and you would think, like, especially the thing that we saw in China.
What does that mean, though?
Well, no, it was like. So the
didn't
thing
get
that
it?
we saw in China was that when anything was like westernized, it seemed like they were really into it. Like, oh, we're
Yeah.
going to be like America or something like
Yeah.
that. But
Okay.
they didn't seem that way with Disney. Like it's like it was not very packed. It was not. It was like almost like they didn't understand. You know how like you go to
it
Disney
wasn't
World
hype.
and like the parking lot takes you 3 hours to walk through.
Right.
Like this was like a Walmart parking lot, right?
Huh.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
Walmart parking lot in China.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, seriously. We
Waits.
parked like 10,
the
10
gate?
10 feet away from the gate.
Yo, damn, we gotta move to Shanghai.
Yeah.
By
so.
season park passes, man. How many rides were there?
It was not a big park. It was bigger than Disneyland, maybe,
a little, but
what?
it certainly.
but not bigger than
No,
Disney World.
You got to figure Disney World has so much
Yeah.
property. Most places don't have that. Although I think they said they do have room to expand, but it's, a new thing.
Yeah, I would
trying
say
it
it was
out.
like maybe like
We'll see.
1.5 parks of Disney World. Like
One
so
and a
maybe it was
half.
like maybe Epcot and Magic Kingdom or something like that. I can't remember what was there. I can't even remember.
losing
But
me.
yeah, I don't remember there being a lot of rides actually. I
No
remember there being
rides.
like the Disney, like the Magic Kingdom castle
Yeah.
and shit. And then there was
They did have rides. The reason you don't remember is because you don't like rides.
I
So we
don't
didn't
like
go
rides.
on
You're right,
any.
though,
That's
about-
why.
Like Asia and stuff. They like the culture over here. Some
Yeah.
people, like
Lot
I saw
of,
this,
not all of them, but yeah,
like there was this foreign exchange kid that came to my school,
Yeah.
and he was really still learning English, and like
I remember him.
yeah, well, no, we had a lot
Oh,
of
I was thinking.
different
remember
people
him.
that came, but
Yeah.
this one guy in particular, like he just came into the school one day and just had a shirt that said toast
What was?
in print letters.
Oh yeah,
just toast.
toast. Yeah, it's like.
And
that's
he
good.
didn't even know what the word toast meant, but he just
was English.
It was English. It looked
What was-
cool, and he
what
was
was-
just trying to fit in.
What?
Well, it's no different than when you buy stuff or anybody that has like Chinese or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, you
And
don't
that's
know
really
what it
big
says.
Nobody
right now,
knows
too.
what it
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
but it probably says, well, no,
That's the
nothing
same thing.
nothing beats. We were at the zoo. That was at the Beijing Zoo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This
Yeah.
little girl was walking around, speaking of that, wearing clothes where you don't know what it said. Little girl, pink or purple shirt,
I remember that.
said, fuck.
What?
God. And she's just running around. What? No, swear to God. And we were crying. And they're like,
But-
there's no way. They don't even know what the hell this
And that was-
says. And that's what their kids running around with. It was little, too, like probably 3 years
Oh,
old.
no way.
That's amazing.
Now listen, was it Jade or Noah that had the foreign exchange? I don't know who they're from.
It was probably me.
that choked somebody because he got
Oh,
upset.
it was-
Listen
yes.
to this.
That was Noah's
This
cousin.
fucking guy. What the hell was his name? I think
was
his
his
name was. I can't
I would
even say
know it. I would
because
know it if you said it.
I forgot. And guess what? I know I'm gonna say something, and it's just gonna sound super fucking racist. So I'm just gonna skip it. But this guy, okay, he had an anger issue. Okay, he had a very bad anger issue.
Yeah.
Again, I would too if I was in Korea or wherever he was from.
I think he was from Korea. Yeah,
And,
South
like,
Korea.
I'm in a Korean class, and just no one can really talk to me because no one speaks
Right, yeah,
English.
yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, the
it's the
opposite, yeah.
same thing. So he just had a real bad anger problem too. This one day he just snapped on this for kid TJ. Mitchell. He grabbed him by his neck, and he had a pair of scissors.
Oh my god!
And he was about to plunge it into Mitchell's head.
Yeah.
And TJ, which ended up being the class president my junior year.
Uh-huh.
So, that was in 3rd grade, the knife stabbing.
Oh my gosh.
TJ grabbed his arm.
Oh my gosh!
And literally, it was like this, and he grabbed it. And
like
it-
in the movies.
And,
Yes.
and that was a real thing. Like, he really tried to kill Mitchell.
He tried to kill Mitchell.
And
Oh my gosh!
there's a couple reasons I'll just get into real quick, just to show some more backlight why Mitchell was the target. At lunch, he always had stinky food.
Oh yeah, the Korean.
No.
Mitchell.
Mitchell, the guy that was trying to get stabbed, he always had stinky food for some reason, man.
Wow.
They would bring it. He was like the only kid that microwaved at the time. Like everyone else was just getting like peanut butter jellies, and this kid was bringing in microwavable stuff,
Yeah.
stinking up the whole class. It pissed off. What's his face?
Gosh, I wish I could remember his name.
He just fucking grabbed a pair of scissors.
He's like, "How dare you bring stinky food in my lunchroom? I kill you."
It's interesting, man. Like,
That happens though in Korea. They kill people for stuff like that,
Especially stinky food.
especially
interesting.
stinky food.
I
So,
don't know.
anyways,
but I really do love the foreign exchange kids. I was friends with most of them.
Mhm.
There was this one Sung. Shout out
oh,
Sung,
yeah,
man.
yeah, I remember.
We played on basketball team together,
Yeah,
and like LeBron James was like his idol.
yeah.
And like I would just remember like we'd just be chilling, and then he would just be like watching LeBron James highlights in history class,
nice.
and
nice.
we'd just be kicking it. Barely could talk to each other, but we were vibing.
Nice. I like it. Let's get a couple super chats.
You got
in here. I
it.
see you've got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, so we got Murphy Pink says, screw them all, wine time, cheers.
Amen.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Jessica Mueller asks, hey, Brian, was just wondering if you were still doing Patreon. I just joined, but it looks like you don't post much on there anymore.
Let me just answer that really quick. Jessica, I'm sorry about that. We need to get back to Patreon a little bit more. Really, Steph, who's been with me forever, is the one that runs Patreon, and she kind of spoon feeds me things to do for Patreon, and we've just kind of lost our way on that. So thank you for your support. I promise I will get on that more. I think the problem is that there's so much on social media. I mean, there's Patreon, there's Cameo, there's now there's stars on Facebook. There's obviously now there's membership on YouTube,
and all the stuff we do.
Yeah, and then all the stuff we do on the side with the tours and the shout outs and all that stuff. It's hard to do it all well, but I should do better with Patreon because we do appreciate people that support us. So I will get on that. I promise you.
Awesome. Tyler King says, hello from Wyoming. I've been enjoying the change of weather, and I'm super excited for summer, and I'm sure you guys are too.
Yeah, we are. Fuck you. Yeah. No, I don't mean that in person. What I'm saying, what I was going to say is that Michigan is looking, and I'm just kidding, Tyler. I love you. Michigan is looking like we're going to have record low temperatures. We're going to be, our high is like 30-something degrees on Friday with a low in the 20s.
Spring polar vortex, they're calling it.
Yeah, they're calling it a spring polar vortex.
No.
There's still time for that to change.
No. Yes.
Still what? Like 48 hours?
Yeah.
No. It's
not happening.
It's going to get more cold.
Hours,
Listen to me. It's not happening.
It's not happening.
No, because guess what? We have the power of 485 people. Everyone, let's join in a prayer.
Let's join a prayer. Please, baby Jesus.
Sweet baby Jesus, please don't let it get cold this weekend here in Michigan.
Please, Jesus.
Please, Jesus.
Awesome.
And if everybody could just repeat that at home just one time for the
just
one
one
time.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. All right, Rick.
All right, Rick Stewart says, hey guys, love your videos and podcasts. We sent you the Woodburn sign on your office door after we met you at Tinley in 2017.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that I love, but my daughter didn't love so much.
Because there's
no jade on the
She
sign.
stuck her name on there with a sticky note.
I love that
Yeah,
one.
I remember that.
But, and I
You're
think
on there twice.
I'm on there
you're on there
twice.
twice, yeah.
And Jade's on there none.
But we do appreciate it, and it's on
Love
my
that.
door, and I love it, and I think it's fantastic. Maybe you can send a little addendum, like a little...
Just a little
Yeah.
block that says.
Yeah, just a little block.
Total
We'll save it
different
up there.
block, though. It looks like it's from a different wood family.
Does this man perfect wood crafting? Is he a carpenter?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Wood craftsman, maybe.
Why would he need?
I don't know. I could always use something pine.
Pines?
I could always use a
always
little
use
pine.
some
It's not, he's not
Yeah.
wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, who couldn't
Little
use
hardwood.
a little extra wood, especially in the
I
morning?
mean, no, I got too much wood. That's what I'm saying. I could actually supply some wood for him. No, but DM me, dude.
Podcast.
There's a couple different things we're looking for.
All right. Murphy Pink says Team Lori, so that's dope.
Amen.
And then we got I Am Hudson says the best YouTuber ever, such amazing people.
Hey, thanks so
Wow.
much, and I appreciate your support
That's
tremendously.
amazing.
Thank you. Hey, Solus, what's going on, man?
It says made it hi from Portland, made it on time this time.
Hey, thanks, my man.
Oh, wow.
Hopewell's out there in Portland.
Thank you so much.
Stacy Lee says, Lori, you do you with your wine. $10 for Lori wine, and $10
right.
just showing some love.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stacy.
Stacy,
I
is
see
it
you.
Sten-
She's looking
Stephanie,
cute in the
just for
corner.
some love.
Just for some love. Yeah, G. Robertson says in vino veritas, which I will
I'm
look
assuming-
up.
Hey,
Yeah.
be careful.
Be careful.
You never know
You
what
never
that's
know
gonna
what you
Never
just
know.
said.
Let's see. Yeah, Mike came back after I busted his balls, saying
Yeah.
a lot of old people, a croaking in Florida man, and yeah, I'm driving around with an industrial respirator.
Oh, no way.
Oh my gosh.
Filling a
that's-
U-Haul
Well,
and driving
stay
back
safe.
tomorrow.
Hey man, stay safe out there. Seriously, I
What
know.
the heck?
I know you're a good.
Wait,
you're a good. You're
wait
a
a
good.
minute. You said he's driving around hooked up to a respirator?
Yeah, respirator. A respirator.
Why the hell does he have that on?
A rust potato.
Is he dying? Why you guys always make fun of me, man? You
It's
guys,
Because
super
you say
funny.
funny
it's
shit.
it's your fault, man. It's your fault.
No, he's definitely not. He doesn't have a respirator.
He's got a
on.
respirator.
He
I feel
does
bad
not
for
have
my
a
man,
respirator.
Mike.
He's
yeah.
protecting
He's struggling
himself.
out here, you know? He's got
Yeah,
a
the guy's on
respirator.
he's on a vent, man.
He's on a vent
He's on a
potato.
vent.
He's
Driving across.
out of it.
I know.
driving across
Just to
country
get
in
a
a van.
jewelry box. Man, he's struggling right now.
You got to make ends
Listen,
meet,
you
my
got to
man.
work hard for your.
All right, so shout out to my boy Mike, the jewelry guy. Buy some jewelry for that man.
Yeah, please. He's
Please.
struggling out there.
Please, man, please give that guy
Brian
some business.
says, Brian, have you ever sanitized a snake? LOL. My retic got passed around by a bunch of neighbors, so I had to
that's
take him
interesting.
in and give him a bedtime bath.
No,
Betadine.
betadine.
Oh, betadine, sorry.
He said a bedtime bath. All right, little
Now,
snake,
who's
let's go to bed.
Who's laughing now, Noah?
Hyperventilating right now.
So, betadine bath. You know, it is an interesting thing that has went through my head a little bit. about the reopening of the Reptarium. I don't know that I've come to the conclusion of what that means. But if someone is handling, say, Perdita,
Grab the dawn out.
Well, I think this is the thing. I think that we're going to have to just encourage people to be smart. If you're there, most likely when we open, whenever that is, everyone will have to wear masks. And we'll have, obviously, sanitized.
The fever thing, too.
Yeah, the fever thing as well, checking everyone's fever before they come in the door. But let's say someone's asymptomatic, whatever. Point is that be smart. We're going to have sanitation stations. We're going to tell people wash their hands as much as they can. I think, there's no way that any business that deals with the public is going to be 100% safe, right? Whether you're
we've
opening
already
up...
done stuff anyways.
Yeah.
Obviously, we encourage people to wash their hands. We've always had hand sanitizer just because, so.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying it's one of those things that, we're going to have to, but, you don't go to the store without opening the freezer door or the cart or, you're always going to come in some, so you're going to have to just use smart.
Be as smart as possible.
Be as smart as possible and I don't know if a snake could hold on to it. If I handed you the snake and you had some virus on your hand, would it go over? I don't know. But who knows? Just be smart. And so, but that's a good question. From Oz.
Yeah, it says, Heya from Oz. Love watching you guys.
It's Heya.
Heya.
How you going?
Laura.
How you going, mate?
How you going?
Laura.
How you going, mate? I love Oz. I just actually talked to someone from Oz this morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Kyle.
Kyle.
My friend Colin. What's that?
Oh, yeah. Man, they used to come around here a lot more often.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think that
once things settle out, we can go visit them. Because
I would
I
love
want
to
go.
Yeah,
I think I want
let's
to
go to
go.
He's the
Australia.
last one in the family. He's never
I've
been.
never been.
Oh, you've never been.
'Cause I've
we'll
been
give you a
scared.
better experience than Mom and Jade had.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the experience you want in Australia?
He wants to travel for 36 hours straight.
No,
36 hours straight, live in a little hut in the middle of the outback,
Well, that's the thing. I
and
don't
have
want
a
to.
frog drop on your head in the middle of the night.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly
Living.
Jade's experience.
Yeah.
So I actually wouldn't mind like maybe having maybe a few days doing some adventuring, you know, or just
Well, Sydney's great too.
but also I want to just experience Australia for what it has to offer.
It's a great,
as well.
it's a great.
I would
country.
like to experience the wildlife aspect of it to an extent, but like I said, like I also want to experience
The culture.
the culture, the actual people there.
Well, yeah,
I
you
think
go.
my experience was good.
Was it good?
Yeah, because
Oh,
we
good.
had like a day or two in
Yeah, we had
Sydney.
a couple days in
so you got
Sydney,
the,
Darling
the
Harbour.
city
Yep, we had
and
Darling
stuff, which was
Harbour, yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Then we went out further. We did the reptile show.
Yep, in Homebush.
And then
we went up to Gosford.
yeah, and then we stayed and even just
Yeah.
where we stayed was very
rainforest, yeah.
remote. So there was all kinds of crazy birds and kangaroos. Like this is their
Yeah.
normal wildlife,
Yeah.
but to us,
That's
it was
what-
really cool.
Yeah, I guess
I
it
was
a
just
pretty
telling
cool, yeah.
Mom this yesterday. I said I saw the most beautiful bird the other
yeah.
day.
Oh, that's
What was
awesome.
it?
Dude, I was just chilling in the backyard playing basketball, and then this yellow, I'm talking like yellow, right? Really bright neon yellow
Yeah.
with a gray and black body as well.
Oh, interesting.
And like it just
okay, perfect.
I told him
landed,
to ask my dad; he would know. 'cause
it land,
Was it this?
dude, it kind of looked like that. Yeah.
The Eastern goldfinch. They come around this time of year.
Dude,
They eat
yeah.
They're
thistle.
beautiful.
And
They're
dude, it
beautiful.
was in our pond, and I just was looking
Of
at
course
it.
it was.
Oh, of course.
Nothing else
Yeah,
lives
the
there.
fish don't live in there. Fish don't live in there.
I don't know, man. All I'm saying it was just beautiful.
No,
Yeah.
they're
You know?
beautiful
No, there's
birds.
some nice. A lot of red cardinals lately.
Yes,
this year.
a lot.
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, Cardinals, a lot of cool, good
I
birds
love my
right now.
birds, man.
Me too.
Well, there's some great birds in Australia. I mean, obviously got cockatoos wild. You've got the black cockatoos. You've got magpies, kookaburras.
I was just about to
That's
say
one of
that.
my favorites.
Yeah, so
We saw those in Florida, right?
yeah, we did. Yeah,
Those things were.
they cackle
wild.
cackle at
They
you.
were
And they eat
wild.
meat.
Yeah,
They're meat
dude.
eaters.
I remember we spent a bunch of time around that cage
Yeah.
because was it the cackling that was so unique?
Yeah, it was.
We
the
like
cackling,
if you stayed around long enough, they would make like that weird noise.
Yeah, that was at Jeff Schrock's.
Yeah, and we were just like enthralled by
Feed
it,
them meat sticks.
you know.
No, we didn't feed them meat sticks, but
just looked
but
at 'em.
You could have, though. That's for sure. Interestingly enough, you know how the cane toads are a major invasive problem in Australia,
Yeah.
and they've been killing off a lot of wildlife because, of course, they have toxin, right? And so, like death adders and some other animals were dying because they would eat the toads and then they would die from the toxin because they didn't have immunity to it because they had never been around it.
Yeah.
Well, kookaburras actually adapted pretty quickly because originally they were dying as well. So what they would do is they would take the cane toads, they do now even, and they smash them over and over and over again and get all the toxin out before they eat them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's in a
remember
very
you
short
telling me
period
that.
of time they went from like dying
Birds
off.
do it?
Yeah, kookaburras. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're smart enough to know.
No,
They're
they're
smart enough to know, like, hey, we're gonna die if we eat it this way. But if we smash them against the
know.
tree a bunch of times, they're actually good.
And this is so crazy, but I'm like, every day that goes by, I swear to God, like, I think that every living thing on Earth is a lot smarter than I originally thought.
Yeah.
Like everything, like
Trees, grass.
Well, you know what's interesting is
I was kind of talking about animals. I haven't even gotten to the trees yet, man. I'm still on animals. But like I'm just talking about like yeah, man, these animals like they're thinking something because they know not to do certain things or else they'll die.
yeah.
They
No, it
adapt
is.
as well.
What was interesting the other day, your mom came to me because one of the cow kings was eating an egg.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
And then I candled that egg, and that egg, the embryo, was kind of jacked up. But the other eggs in the clutch all were perfect. So it's interesting how she may have sensed that there might have been a problem with the egg, and so she decided she was going to eat it, maybe
Makes
because...
me feel better because I was pissed.
Oh, you were pissed. You're like, that bitch.
I'm trying to pull it out of her mouth. No.
yeah. But I don't know. So
That's-
it was just interesting. So, all right,
It
back to
is.
the super chats real quick, and then we'll move on.
Cool. Heavenly Knees is in the house. Says, "Hey guys, Noah, you're looking good, dude. Ooh, can't stay to watch sadly, but I'll catch up later. Got to get back to work. Much love, guys."
All right, well, she's always a big
Thank you.
supporter, so thank you so much, Knees.
I try, I try to look nice.
Potterhead says, "My 4.5-year-old son Jackson wants a lizard. What would you recommend? He is battling juvenile arthritis, and I think a pet would help him deal with it."
I
Love the
really
vlog.
think something like a bearded dragon or a
Bearded
leopard
dragon.
gecko, bearded dragon or leopard gecko, depending on what you want. If you want something that's going to like sit on him and chill,
Get him a freaking
bearded
dragon.
dragon's a great thing. If you want something that's a little bit more but can chill as well, then a leopard gecko is
Listen,
the way to
can
go.
can I share my 2 cents?
Yeah.
So personally, I think
Your
'cause
Stevie Y story.
well, I was kind of gonna say that, but like I always feel like when I was a kid, like I looked at my like a bearded dragon, and it felt like real manly,
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And like
yeah.
when I
They're
have like
masculine. Yeah, they're
when I have
masculine.
like a leopard gecko, I kind of
Yeah,
feel a little
feminine.
weak,
Yeah,
like
feminine, yeah.
its tail might fall off.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if
it's
I
not
got
as
this
hardy.
bearded dragon, he looks so cool, and
Yeah.
like you said, you have him on your shoulder, he's standing there all day. You're like, yeah, this is my boy Fetty.
Yeah.
Get him a
Isn't
bearded
it wild
dragon.
that we still have Fetty Stevie Y all these years later? It's crazy, right?
That's not the original Stevie Y.
Oh,
That-
okay. I thought,
why-
that's Fetty, though.
That's Fatty.
Okay.
Not Stevie Y is a
Stevie-
different
Oh,
one.
Stevie Y was
a long
way,
time ago.
way.
Yeah,
back.
that was from when I was a little kid.
Oh, okay. Well, we've still had Fetty a long time.
Fetty's very old as well,
Yeah, he's an old dude.
but
Okay.
different.
Murphy back.
Yeah, Murphy Pink says, "If people send Brian knives, can we send Lori stun guns? Also, we need a Lori Reptarium wine, which
That
would be cool."
Actually,
really
everything is a
fun.
good. It's a good idea. The stun gun part is great as long as I'm not involved
Yeah.
in it. And I love
that could help keep you in line.
and I love the Reptarium wine too. I
Yeah,
think
we
that's a
should
great,
go to
yeah.
we should go to Blake's and see if they can hook us.
Well,
up
I
and
know
make
that.
wine.
I know me
Yeah.
and Noah and I once we could probably make some wine because we made some beer
Lord,
once.
no.
That'd be
It was-
delicious. Yeah,
Yeah, the
sounds
beer
beer
was
we
was
would
great.
like it to be drinkable,
The
please.
beer was something else we made.
It's
Ooh.
something else. Yeah,
Yeah, it was something else. By the way, everyone always thinks they make good beer.
They don't.
They don't.
yeah.
Every person I've ever like, I'm a crafter. Your stuff sucks, man. I mean, it's
Yes.
undrinkable.
I know.
Yeah.
My brother told me that too. There was a guy at work, same thing. Like he
Yeah.
was crafting
I'm a
his own, and he
crafter.
brought it in, and he said it all tastes like,
It's like,
shit.
yeah, it's like
It does.
the reason why you buy freaking, Dos Equis is because they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
you
because
know what I
they
mean?
perfected the craft.
Yeah, you're some idiot with some yeast in the garage with
little
a barrel.
a plastic barrel.
Bathtub,
You think you're gonna
you're
pot-
just doing the.
Yeah, in a plastic barrel.
Maybe I'm being too
You're
hard.
not.
Maybe I'm
No,
being
you're
too
not.
harsh.
You're really not.
Maybe
That's
I'm being
real
too
life,
harsh.
man. That's real
Okay.
life.
So, Chris been binging Bad Choice Noah vids all
Oh,
week.
Thank you,
nice.
Chris G.
Awesome.
Love
man.
you.
Sharon says, hello, Brian, Laura, Noah, and Jay. Hello,
Hey, Sharon, what's
Sharon.
going on? I think that she
Hope
just
you're having a
Just
good
ordered
one.
sent off a
Yeah, we just sent a
tumbler.
tumbler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
we all signed it, right?
Yeah, we all
Oh,
signed
yeah,
it.
we
That's right.
did.
Yeah. So you're awesome, Sharon.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
so
She's
much.
always great. So
All right, we got Anna says, hi, Brian.
Yeah,
Really
so-
enjoyed the tour this morning.
yeah, so Anna and her husband Chris were from Hawaii. Well, they live in Hawaii and on the west side, and really enjoyable tour for me. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy. The tours are great. But some tours are just more fun. And these guys were really good. They were, a lot of conversation, very interesting people, just good people all around. So I had a really good time with them. So thank you for doing the tour, number one, and thank you for your support on everything else.
Awesome. We got Jesse Butcher says, I want a Lori ball.
Yeah, well, we just got some killer eggs from that Lori leopard.
Yeah.
Bred to a Lori.
Big
that we could
clutch,
potentially
We
too.
have.
still have one available on the site.
Really, a normal Lori? Oh my gosh! wow.
Video you posted today?
Yeah, the super Lori
Black and
leopard.
gray?
Yeah, black and or blue and
Blue.
gray. Yeah,
Blue and
gray.
blue and silver, gray,
silver.
black and gray,
Something like that.
white and yellow.
It's like that
whatever,
dress.
something like that.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah,
dress.
yeah.
I see
Oh,
black and
man,
gray,
that was
man.
a-
I've
that-
seen both. I've seen both.
I've seen
man.
both too, depending on what day it is.
Yeah. Well, you
yeah.
just kind of like, if you
interesting.
look at it different, you can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
All
it's
right.
not-
So let me see here. So G. Robertson actually came back and says, in vino veritas actually means in wine lies the truth.
Oh, that's true. I appreciate that. I
Thank you,
appreciate
G.
that. Yep. We
J-
miss Italy.
That's what's up.
Mike says, also, hopefully Michigan will open some barbershops soon. Noah looking like he's 17 again.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
No, yeah.
Can't get my hair cut, man.
What are you gonna
There's
do?
nothing I can do.
What are you gonna do, man?
There's nothing I can do. I'm not cutting myself.
We can
That's what-
all discuss the issues with not being able to get the hair and nails and all of that done.
Yeah.
The women,
sure.
yeah, the women are struggling pretty hard right now. Let
Oh
me
yeah,
just tell you.
I can only imagine.
It's
I know. I can tell.
Yeah, thanks.
I wasn't talking about you.
Those poor,
I was talking about all the hoes.
those poor.
trifling assholes out
Can you
there.
imagine those hairdressers and stuff like that? They're gonna be crazy the first couple
Oh yeah,
months.
that's also
They're gonna be
probably
crushing
the
it.
problem is good luck getting in.
Yeah.
Even once they open. That's why I just don't even know.
I got
I'm
pre-booked.
going to resort to bribery and
Yeah,
see if
that's a
that
good-
helps.
Usually works.
Otherwise,
It always works.
I'm
It
gonna
does,
just
yeah. It's
be
there's always a price.
It's always a
doing
price.
myself,
Yeah.
and that's not going to end
price for
well.
everything.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, listen, I know you charge $100, but I'm gonna give you $500.
So
Yeah,
if there's a
Oh,
price,
shit, I was thinking a bottle of wine. But
There's a price
maybe that's the way I gotta go.
there's a price for everything,
Yeah,
right?
there is.
What would the price be for your Russian roulette? The one where they have like the Magnum with the revolver,
Yeah.
right?
How
And
many
let's say
bullets?
there's 8 bullets, but there's there's 8 slots. There's only 1 bullet.
Uh-huh.
And what would your price be for you to spin it, put it in, and shoot?
Well, see, you're talking to the wrong guy because I'm not money motivated enough. Like, there's no amount of money that I
I would never do that.
Yeah, there's no amount of money. If you said I will give you 100 million, I'd be like, no, because
Yeah.
if you're 1 in 8 wrong,
Yeah.
that 100 million means nothing to you. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
so to me, I would never do it. I'm sure a lot of people would do
I
it.
think a lot of people would do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Yeah,
people,
I would
even for $1 million, I think a lot of
$50,
people.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
You
like,
said
give me a
50.
20.
Yeah. You guys trying to buy Taco Bell after this? I got you.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It just popped in my head.
Interesting.
question.
Yeah, for
I
me, yeah.
never really thought of that. But.
yeah for
I'd
me. Well, I mean,
say-
there's always a price. I
You
guess
got a
that's the
price?
point.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like, probably $300.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you, bro.
No,
I
man,
just think
shit's
it's
getting
this-
rough out here in Coronaville.
I think it's. I guess that is the point, right? There is a not a price for everything. You know, like that is one thing.
It
Rem-
depends on the
depends.
person.
And the price doesn't have to be monetary.
Also, it depends on the day.
Remember, like
What
the,
colors? What color's the dress that day?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That day.
Depends on the day, because someday I'll pay you for that gun.
Bitch, load them up, all 8.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
load-
test my luck. See if this one's a dud.
Maybe it'll misfire.
Right, right.
If
It
God
totally
don't want it, I'm
depends on
gonna
the day,
misfire.
right?
All right, all right, all
All
right.
right, we just got a couple more.
Yeah,
Nathan
man.
Mitchell says, I'm from Australia, and our culture is beers and bongs for Noah, if you wanted to know
Man,
about their
beers and
culture.
bongs, man.
Perfect.
Damn. And
Sharon
great.
says, I also ordered makeup from Jade.
oh, that's
thanks,
awesome. Well,
Sharon.
thank you, Sharon. Thank you.
Sharon's
That's
the
awesome.
best.
Boston Kissinger says, finally don't have to watch after you guys post it, because
Well,
he's here on
awesome,
time.
Boston.
Hey, shout
that's
out,
awesome.
Boston.
Boston. It's nice to have you here, man.
We're all caught up.
Cool,
my
excellent.
boy.
You know, Australia is great like that. I mean, they're you'll love it.
They're
You'll
great
love
like
it.
that. They love drinking. They love smoking.
They love
They're
smoking
great.
bongs and drinking
They
beers.
do.
They're all about living life.
They do. They do seem like a really happy,
Wild.
Yeah, wild and kind of They're the type of people. And again, I've been there a bunch of times, and I have a lot of friends there. But I'm not Australian, although Bob Irwin said that I could be a honorary Australian.
Oh.
Wow, that's a
That's like getting
high
knighted
honor.
by the queen.
That's like
man.
That
the
is
black
like
card.
that is like being knighted. I mean, an Irwin giving you the.
It's
the
when
guy.
it's like you got a couple black friends. They give you the card.
They give you the card. Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing. You just got an Aussie card.
Yeah,
I got
Aussie
not.
card.
Now you can say good day, mate.
You can say jump out.
Oh, don't encourage.
Legitimately,
don't
you can
encourage.
legitimately say good day, mate. No.
He's already got that. That's a ripper.
That's a ripper.
That's a ripper,
That's
mate.
a ripper, mate.
I know.
Australia.
I love that. That's like literally, that shit makes me laugh so hard when like I'll watch something of yours and you like test out a new phrase.
Yeah.
I literally just go, and I just like kind of scream into the air a little bit.
So good.
Because it's just so funny.
It's a ripper. Rippers
know.
are good. It's a ripper. It's not
a
an
ripper.
er.
No
It's
ER.
it's an A.
Any you
Ripper.
can never use the ER.
Yeah, and it's not Australia. It's Straya.
I know.
Australia.
This ain't the
Straya.
this isn't the 20s anymore.
It's Staya.
Straya.
Straya. STRA. RSTR.
Yeah, you know
get
how to
there.
spell.
We're
gonna get there.
Straya.
So, do you want to talk about your extravaganza?
Which one? The
Indonesian
Yeah, so I mean, we
extravaganza.
could either get into that, or we could talk about the fact that I'll leave it up to you.
Okay.
Okay, let's get into
Let's
the
get into
Australia.
that.
So I did want to. I mentioned in the vlog a couple of days ago or yesterday when it all blends together in
Yeah.
Coronaville.
True.
But about my adventure to Indonesia with actually Forrest Fanning was with me, and Brian Cusco was with me, and so it was a great trip, by the way. It was amazing. We spent time in Jakarta, which is a crazy city. And then we flew down to Bali, which is also really wild, especially because like Bali is kind of like the Las Vegas of Indonesia, you know,
really?
because it's a Muslim country. Like there's a lot of rules. Like, you can drink, but if you were caught smoking weed, you could get the death penalty. I mean, it's like very, very strict and there's but then you get down to Bali, and it's not it's Hinduism. It's no longer Muslim. So you could pretty much do everything. You know, like you go down there and it's just like party city down there, right? And it's just a cool place, beautiful beaches. Definitely weird. It's a bizarre little place. But anyways, point is that I was down there with my friend Keo, who was actually, Indonesian and very connected there. So he helped us out with everything. And him and Forrest decided they were going to stay back because Brian Brian Cusco more than me, but I was in on it, wanted to go to the Flores Islands where the Komodos are, but in particular, we both really wanted to go to this cave called Istana Ular, which is like a famous bat cave, and there's this guy named Brady Barr. Can you punch up Brady Barr retic cave bite, and just see if we can find?
Is it BARR?
Yeah, BARR retic bite. Even I bet you could even punch in. And there's probably, there it is.
Ooh.
So this was Brady Barr's bite in the cave that we went to. And then maybe if you go up a little bit for a second,
that's gross.
to your right there. Yeah, just click on that. I wonder. No, that's a giant python. That isn't it. No. A couple over to the left. Python attacks. That's it.
This right here?
That was the actual cave we were in. It's called Istana Ular. And so we wanted to go to that cave because it was legendary for
it's
reticulated pythons.
Famous.
You
Yeah, and
wanted to
it's-
get matching snake bites?
Well, I don't know. I thought it'd be a cool idea.
That would be a horrible place to have an open wound like
Yes,
that.
exactly.
Well, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into that as we go here. So, regardless, yeah. So we literally had a loose leaf paper with a map drawn on it.
Ooh.
And this is what
Pirates
it
of the
said.
Caribbean
This is what
stuff.
it said. Literally, it said, "Fly from Bali to Labuan Bajo, which is the kicking off point to the Flores Islands, is where Komodo International Airport. And by Komodo International Airport, it's got one runway with one prop plane that comes in once a day. So it's not exactly like an international airport. I don't think anyone. I don't know who's flying in internationally onto the airport, but it's a cool little place.
Yeah.
So Keo lines up like on this map. It says fly to Labuan Bajo.
Yep.
Drive 43 kilometers to Istana Ular, which is a little village, and then hike down this trail for an hour into the woods to the cave. That was our map.
Did it have north, south, east, west?
I don't
hike?
think it even had that.
It just
I
said
don't think it just do those
choose
things.
a way and go an
Yeah,
hour.
I just think that was what we.
Did your friend Keo write this?
No. There was actually one of Brian's friends. I think Garrick Hartle is the one that actually had written it, but I could be wrong. Regardless, we because the better part of value, we thought this sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, of course.
This sounds great. Let's book a ticket.
Is this
agree-
after
I
you were
agree.
like drinking and smoking in Bali that you made this decision?
No, I didn't drink and
It
smoke.
sounds like
Although I
it.
was right after that. I had that cough medicine from so I had this really bad cough. I'm going off on a tangent
Yeah.
for a second, but I had like the cough I had back in January, the Rona cough.
Okay.
And it was bad. It was to the point where it was like, I mean, it had gone on for about a week, and like I was having massive coughing fits. And so I was in the airport in Jakarta flying to Bali, and I went to this little pharmacy, and they had this little tiny bottle of cough medicine. And I didn't take it before I got on the plane. It's about a 2-hour plane ride, hour and a half plane ride. And so when we got to the resort that we were staying at, I opened this up because I'm dying. I'm like, I've got to take this medicine. And it's this little tiny spoon. I'm talking like a quarter the size of a teaspoon. And that was the dosage. And I'm like, Jesus, this can't be any good. It's Indonesia, whatever. I take this thing, I'm in a coma for 10 hours.
Just take the little spoon.
I take
or
the
did you take a
no,
swig?
I took the little spoon, and I was in a coma for 10 hours.
Yes.
I mean, like a coma. But I will tell you this:
What?
I was dry heaving, almost coughing.
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning and I was spitting out goop.
That's a good thing.
It was incredible. And the bad part was I brought that home, and your mom threw it away.
Damn.
That shit was good.
Why'd you throw away his good drugs?
So it
messed up.
was after the cough medicine. So maybe I was a little loopy from the cough medicine. But so Keo lines up, to get us there, and he lines up a driver that's going to drive us up to Istana Ular, 43 kilometers. So we get in at 10 in the morning. We want to be at the cave really in the late afternoon where bats are coming out and we're doing stuff like that. So we're thinking 4 o'clock, thinking like it can't be more than an hour drive. 43 kilometers is like 30 miles.
Yeah,
So we're like, whatever. We're like, hey, we'll go back to the hotel. There's only one hotel on the island. By the way, really like beautiful, beautiful island. Very third world. Very, very third world. But the best view of a harbor I've ever seen in my entire life would blow away Hawaii. Hawaii. The most beautiful view I've ever seen in my life. So, but the hotel is like so shitty. I mean, there's like, there's not a phone in the room. There's not, there's barely electricity in the room. There's 2 little cots. That's all there is. And a little
crazy.
tiny balcony that you can look out on the bay. So we think we're going to originally we're like, all right, we'll go back to the hotel. We'll chill for a couple hours and then get this drivers that picked us up from the airport. They can take us to Istana Ular. And so we get there and the guy goes, oh no, we cannot go to Istana Ular. And we go, what? Like we flew 2.5 hours on a prop plane to get to this fucking little island, and now you're saying we're not going to be able to go. And so we get on the phone with Keo. Keo talks to him. He obviously bribes him. Everything's for money, right? You know. And the guy goes, okay. He said, but we must leave now. It's like 10 in the morning, and I'm like, well, why would we leave now? He goes, oh, it's at least a 3 to 4 hour drive.
Damn.
30 miles. He was 100% right. I mean, these weren't even roads that we were on. I mean, these were like, I mean, it was like there were places that had 10-foot ditches that we had to somehow navigate around. We're going 5 to 10 miles an hour the entire way.
Oh my God.
So finally, but the guy says there's a driver and another guy. The one guy speaks broken English, not very well. The other driver speaks no English at all.
Yeah.
And he tells us, he goes, oh, well, when we get to Istana Ular, you must meet with the elders and the chief to get passage to the cave. And we're like, okay, well, sounds good to me, right?
Yeah, totally.
So,
Just chilling with the elders.
Yeah, sounds super treasure hunting.
Sounds good.
yeah. So, and this is literally, like, I'm not saying it was Labuan Bajo, but there are islands in Indonesia that there's headhunters, right? Now, that's in my mind a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah.
So finally we get up to the top of this mine, or this mountain, and in this village, like, there's like maybe 40 people in the village, something like that. They're all in like little kind of like little buildings, you know. Doesn't look like if electricity, not much, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
They all come out. Like you just think like, wow, they probably haven't seen many white people in their life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, they saw Brady Barr obviously, but you know, so regardless, we get up there and they all come out and they're all smiling and they're all like surrounding us like we're, you know, special, and we're taking pictures and, you know, doing
Wait,
all
they
this
got phones?
No, they don't have phones. We're taking pictures with our camera of them, you know what I mean? Not with them. And so so finally, you know, the guy, you know, our guide basically says like, okay, we must go and talk to the chief and the elders. So they shuffle us into this little place that's about the size of this studio, and it's me and Brian sitting in a chair, and then next to us is our guy, and then the chief sits down right in front of us in a chair. His couple elders sit down, and then all behind him is like the rest of the town. I mean, they're just crammed in here. Now the difference is no one's smiling. They went from like smiling to being like everyone's just like straight face.
Fuck.
And so the chief sits down for 15 minutes. You know, he's like, you know, talking, and my interpreter's talking back, and they're going back and forth. They're obviously negotiating something. The whole time I'm thinking, this isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, what are they talking about? Like,
you have
You
no
guys
clue.
are like coming here to be sacrificed. Is
yeah,
that
like
what you're
they're like thinking, hey, guess what? Do I get the commission for bringing some more white guys?
Right.
You know, my guide is like, I get another $20 for bringing them the next meet. You know, and so regardless, then the weirdest thing happens is finally there's some silence, and the chief goes back like this with his hand like this.
Yeah.
And some lady hands him a machete. And just hands him a machete.
Oh, my
At this
goodness.
point, I'm just like, we're fucking dead,
You're
man.
shitting bricks.
Yeah,
You're-
they're gonna cut our head off. That's it. We're done. You know, this was a great idea. Thanks, Brian. You know, thanks for the idea. So, anyways, point is that, you know, that goes on for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone gets up, walks outside. I'm still kind of convinced they're just walking us to like a stump where they're gonna put us over the stump and chop our head off.
Yeah.
And so finally, this whole time, this guy speaks a little English next to me, doesn't say a word the entire time.
That's good.
Finally, he says, okay, we are all set. The chief and his elder are going to take you to the cave, but they want $40. And I'm like, I give them $400 to not die, number one.
Yeah.
And number two. So then they do they march us to this cave, literally an hour and a half walk through. There is zero chance we would have ever found that cave.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
And there was no chance in a million years. I could have been searching for 40 years and I wouldn't have found that cave.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, there
That's
was
what
no
I mean.
path like with signs going, this is the way to the cave.
Yeah.
It's jungle.
It's jungle.
We're literally half the time walking through trees.
That's so awesome though, because so this is how cool this is. It's like those people, those villagers, right? That's been where they've lived their whole
They know
life.
the trees
so
like
yeah,
streets.
Yeah.
they'll see the tree and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, I know that
Yeah.
this is Mound Road."
yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah, it was great.
unique and
It was
cool.
it was so cool. And then ultimately, when we got to the cave, the reason he brought the machete was he had brought in an egg, and he actually climbed up a particular tree, chopped down a branch, and then made a little cradle for the egg in the branch. Pushed it into the ground, and then chopped the top of the egg off and did a ceremony to the gods to allow a safe passage into the cave. And that was what the machete was about. And then this is what we get back to the open wound thing. By the time first off, we find a baby retic 10 feet in the cave.
Damn.
Literally we're in the cave a minute and we find a retic. But then we start going into the cave and we're 20 feet in the cave, and literally I am up to my waist in bat guano, up to my waist. So when Brady Barr got hit by that retic like that, that was in bat guano. I mean, literally bat shit was in that wound. And I remember at one point there were just millions and millions of bats in this cave, obviously to fill the cave up with and this cave went on for a long time. It was like a river of bat shit. And at one point, I don't even know what I was thinking, but for some reason, I looked up to the ceiling to see the bats, and bat shit went in my mouth and in my eyes.
Well, can I say something real quick? How the fuck did you not get coronavirus?
That's what I'm saying, man.
What the
Maybe,
fuck?
I
Like,
mean, how
dude,
didn't I?
That's worse than
This
eating a
is-
bat. It's eating its shit.
Are
You are
patient
Zero.
Maybe
dude.
I'm the one, yeah. Maybe I'm the one that
dude.
brought it. Well, the thing that was crazy, too, is that
Disgusting.
we were so stupid, we literally just both had a backpack. We left all our luggage back in Bali.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have like a change of socks or shoes. So going in there, I decided the smartest thing, which probably is pretty stupid of me. I don't know how I feel about it, but I took my shoes and socks off so I
probably
wouldn't
would've
ruin
done
it.
the same thing.
But I'm walking on jagged rocks.
That's what I mean.
And so my feet are
Oh,
getting cut up.
And you don't ever go barefoot either.
Never.
Yeah, and
Because
I
that'd
never
be
go- yeah,
different if
yeah.
I did, because I'm always barefoot. But
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got little baby feet.
Oh, I've got the softest feet. It's like a baby's bottom.
Dude, literally, your sole of your foot is just like wet skin all the time. Very thin, old people skin.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like parchment paper.
It
Very
is.
thin.
Yeah, but all I remember is I know I kept walking on jagged rocks and I had cuts all over my feet as
Yeah.
I'm walking in bat shit. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
Dude, that's good. I don't know how you're alive.
yeah, I thought the same thing afterwards. Like, what was we thinking? But that being said,
Yeah.
Says that a lot.
Let's do it again.
that being said, it was maybe one of the most memorable experiences of my entire
For sure,
life.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
Definitely.
because it was so wild, and looking back, I keep thinking back, like we had a loose leaf paper to
Yeah.
tell us to go across. I mean, it's just crazy.
It's
to some
dumb.
little island in the middle of nowhere, and go to the top of a mountain and find a cave that
It
we don't
worked.
even know. But it all worked out.
worked, though.
It worked out, and we caught a retic. We actually saw a couple other retics and didn't get bit, which was great. And
That is great.
yeah.
I'll tell you, I watched that on the vlog, and
Yeah.
I knew you were alive considering you posted it, and it was still like so
Yeah, that-
suspenseful to watch.
I think that was the thing too, right? Is I filmed it all, right? So
Yeah.
even when we were talking about that elder, I had a camera in my lap when he got the machete.
Yeah.
Dude,
So you
scary.
could see my point of view of what was going on with that. And I remember texting you, Lori, while I was in that cabin, thinking if my phone ever pings a thing and I'm dead, maybe you'll get a text message from me saying how much I loved you and stuff like that. Or maybe
You
it
seem
was
to
just
do a lot of those.
Yeah. That does happen a lot. That's messed up. But also, like, you dunked a G7X Mark II right in the
yeah, I
fucking
did do that in the guano.
guano.
Yeah, I killed my camera. Yeah, I killed
Dunked
my camera.
it.
That's why. And the thing that was a bummer, the footage that we had, is I had a GoPro on my head. But again, things were just so chaotic, and it was just such a wild thing. My GoPro was not recording as an MOV or MP4. It was a time lapse.
Oh no!
So I had a time lapse
Ugh.
on my head, and then my G7X got dunked, and all the footage was gone.
Shit.
So I had no footage from the G7X, and all I had was a time lapse on my head of the actual Bat Cave,
Just kind of
Which is nothing.
which is I mean, it was still like I think I used like 4 seconds of that footage,
Yeah.
just kind of going in and out of the cave, but it didn't tell the story. But there was nothing I could do. I mean, what could you do? I mean, it was
Yeah.
it is what it is. But so there's my Indonesian headhunting. Thing.
Love it. One of my
Yeah.
favorite stories. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's a good one. Want to catch up and then we'll move on.
Yeah, sure. Soulless Honky back at it says beer and bongs is the Portland way as well.
Oh, Portland's great.
Yeah,
I
feel
wanna
like
go
that's a
so
lot of
bad.
places.
Kelly Beck says, "Hi guys, can you please give my 10-year-old son Zay a shout out? Hi Zay.
Shout out, Zay.
Oh my
He
gosh.
currently is going
Love you.
through chemo and isn't allowed to handle our reptiles because of his
Oh,
treatment,
man.
so it would make his day."
Jay, man, dude,
sorry.
just hang in there, brother. And I tell you what, seriously, reach out to us and let us send you a care package. All right, Zay?
Awesome. Courtney says,
Shout
"Big
out, Zay.
fan from Traverse City. I listen while trimming."
Look at you up there in Traverse City. Lori's really bummed because we were supposed to be in Traverse City this last weekend. Yeah.
Oh, well.
We always go every year to Traverse City on the first weekend of May.
Oh, yeah. Tell them what place, too, just so they can meet us.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we always stay at the... We
Don't
stay at
say
the-
it. Just say what it rhymes with.
We stay at the Hampton Inn you know, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we usually get pizza from Little Caesars right down the street too. Usually about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, something like that.
Come meet up. Shawnee Smith says, "In my household, a ripper is when someone toots."
That is a rip.
That
There
is
you
a
go.
ripper. That is a ripper.
That's a
That is
ripper.
That is a ripper.
All right, we got
Greetings from
gaming.
Sweden.
Yeah, it says, "Hi guys, greetings from Sweden. Love the podcast and love the vlogs. Whatever happened to the Swedish couple that had a tour plan long time ago?"
Oh, you're right. You know, that is interesting. I forgot about that. Remember, there was a Swedish couple, and it was one of our only tours that never showed up. They never showed up. They never
Oh.
called. They never did anything. They just
Nothing
disappeared.
happened. I still
Yeah.
have it sitting,
Yeah.
in the file.
I forgot all about that.
But
Yeah, they
no.
didn't show up, and then they never even called to reschedule or get a refund or anything. They just disappeared. I hope they're okay.
Yeah, I hope so
I
too.
mean, maybe who knows?
He actually came back and said, also, would love to know what species of Europlatus you keep and breed. Miss my collection I had 15 years ago.
The only Euros that we have, unfortunately, are the Fimbriatus, and I would love to get some more. I love the Satanicus. I mean, there's a bunch of Euros that are really truly amazing. So we keep saying that, obviously a lot of things are on hold right now. We are going to do a gecko room. And if we were going to do that gecko room, one of the things I wanted to do was expand not only more of our, Chihuahuas and
New Caledonia.
New
geckos.
Caledonia stuff, but also Europlaty stuff. So, but who knows? Maybe when that'll happen, I don't know.
And then lastly,
Oh, yeah,
Solus
don't-
Honky comes back and says, don't forget Team Venomous Sloth.
Yes. It's either one or the other. It's either
Oh.
venomous or sloth.
It's neither.
Okay.
It's hot down here.
It's hot.
It is.
I'm having a little bit of a heat stroke. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
That
Yeah.
doesn't- I don't
It
like
was
that.
warm here in Michigan today, but not warm. It was 60 degrees.
Yeah,
That's
62.
like-
We're like,
that's like-
wow, it's beautiful
That's
out.
like
I
it's
know.
like
That's our
it's
summer.
bathing suit weather here,
Yeah.
But so we watched Fantasy Island the other night, the movie.
You guys did.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
No, he didn't.
Oh shit, I thought
That
you
shit
It
were
was
was just-
actually a good movie.
Which-
I was
which movie?
surprised. I didn't
It was
think
called
I'd like
Fantasy
it.
Island,
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about this.
and it was based on. I mean, it wasn't based on. I mean, it was loosely based on the TV show. Can you punch up a Fantasy Island TV show?
Yeah.
Punch that shit up.
Yeah, because they used the same guy's name.
Yeah,
They
Mr.
had-
Rourke,
yeah.
and they had Tattoo was in it. This is the there it is. There
Yeah.
it is.
Oh,
Oh
dude.
my gosh, there it is, man.
Wait, get a better one.
Yeah, that's Tattoo.
And let me just say
And
that
that's Mr. Rourke.
Tattoo was not Tattoo.
No, it was a different Tattoo. But I like the fact that they came back and they
Yeah.
at least did something. But of course, that's Ricardo Montalban.
Man, I really need to get a little friend.
Oh my gosh, right?
That just would be so cool.
Isn't that like discrimination or something like that?
Why?
It'd be like, I don't care anything about you as long
Shuey used to
as long
say
as you're
that all the time,
you're a little
too,
person.
remember?
Is that what I said? No.
He
I
a
said it
little
would be so
friend.
cool to have a little friend.
Yeah.
It's unique.
But let me ask you,
What?
if there were 10 people you met
yeah.
and they all had the same personality, but one of them was a little person,
I'm picking the little one.
well, there you go. That's all I needed to know. That's all I
Yep.
needed to know.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No.
No,
Just preference.
Yeah, it's just
Taste.
preference.
I just would like a little variety.
Interestingly enough, you know the little person from Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
He supposedly lives in Madison Heights.
Shut up.
Get him on the
Seriously?
podcast.
Get him on the
dude.
pod, dude.
Ken and Harkin, who played part of the stunt things on Jurassic World, he was in that, and he became kind of so friends with them, and he said that he lived in Madison Heights, Michigan.
Yeah.
Wow,
Interesting.
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I know. That's what I said. I said, put me in touch with that guy. That'd be cool, right?
I need to
He was
finish
cool,
Jurassic
too.
Park.
So Fantasy Island was a TV show, just quickly, was basically about this island that you would go to and you would
Fantasize.
Yeah, you would have a fantasy. You only got one fantasy, and you had to basically play that fantasy out, right? You weren't able to change the fantasy. You weren't able to halfway through go, nah, I don't like this fantasy. Let's do something else. You got a fantasy, and that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie was basically based on that, but then there was
Yeah.
like a kind of a twist where it was
Yeah.
like,
There was a
kinda
lot of
like,
twists. I saw
yeah.
the end.
yeah, and it was a relatively decent thing, but I mean, it literally, most people I think said the movie was horrible because it had like an 8 on Rotten Apples.
See, and
It
like
looked
you
horrible.
said, then I never listen to those ratings because most of the time when people say that,
Yeah.
I actually like the movie
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah, it happens to me a
and
lot,
I didn't
too.
think I was going to like that one at all. I was like, oh God, this one sounds like it's going to be really stupid. But in reality, actually, it was a pretty good movie.
Sure.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I
but,
would recommend it.
but it made me think top 3, because Fantasy Island was, I don't want to say it was a top 3 for me TV show when I was a kid, because it was definitely like 70s,
It was
80s.
adult. It was adult oriented. Too,
Yeah,
but,
well, right, it was
but back
fantasy-
then
right.
you only had your 4 channels.
Right. But I remember that it was Fantasy Island and then Love Boat. Both kind of
yes.
adult type
Exactly.
of things, because it was both a lot about like, hooking up with people and stuff like that.
Yep.
You certainly the Me Too movement wouldn't have liked Love Boat or Fantasy Island. But they were cool. So it made me think top 3 best TV shows of your youth.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I can't, man. I'm convinced, you know, I have had so many concussions. I forgot a lot of my childhood.
Oh, geez.
People
Well, let me just say, you guys
okay.
lived on like Nickelodeon. That
Yeah.
seemed to be your favorite station.
Yeah. I just have a hard time remembering. Like a lot of my friends, you know, they'll make jokes about like TV shows that we watched as a kid, and I just forget. Like I just don't remember them.
Mm.
I really don't.
There was some great. I think the 70s and 80s were really
You
wild.
said top 3?
Yeah, top 3.
Okay.
It's so hard. It'd be hard for
have
me to pick.
yours?
But
All right.
I love the Fall Guy. That was a good one.
Okay.
What was
I
it?
loved one of my
Little House on the Prairie is probably one.
it wasn't going to be on my list. I watched that one a lot. I'm going to say actually Laverne and Shirley
Yeah, of course.
and Happy Days
Oh, they were great. They were great.
were
huh.
awesome. Those were one of my top 2. I always liked both of those.
And they were back to back too.
And
Yeah.
exactly. You know,
Yeah.
they always played and you know, of course at that time in love with Chachi.
Oh boy.
Because he was so he was so cute.
I got a couple. I liked Ed and Eddie.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And then, damn, I had the other one in my head too. And of course, I just forgot it. Keep talking about
Yeah,
something
so
else.
okay, so Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days.
Yep. And then gosh. Again, it was so it's like honestly what was on is what you
Yeah,
watched.
that's almost
there
what it
wasn't a
was,
whole
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
choices. So, you know, of course I always watched Brady Bunch. You
Yeah,
know,
Brady
that
Bunch was a
one.
classic,
But
yeah.
oh wait.
Oh gosh, don't say the Waltons. Whatever you
No,
say, don't say the
no,
Waltons.
that was
the
before,
worst
that
fucking
was
show.
before my age, yes.
Oh,
no, that
my
wasn't
gosh.
that. Damn it.
Gosh, the Waltons were. I hated that show. My
watched-
brother loved that show and watched it all the time, and I literally
Zach and
hated
Cody.
Zach and
I like
Cody.
that
Ooh,
one.
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Obviously, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob's like
yeah.
probably
Like-
the best one in my
Obviously.
childhood.
See, that's the thing. Cartoons were different because I mean, you know, obviously we had Looney Tunes when we
Yeah.
were kids. You know,
Tom and
so,
Jerry.
So yeah,
Great.
Tom and Jerry.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about like live
Oh, my
action
God.
TV
Yeah, I
shows.
think like like TV,
man.
like sitcom,
No, but
you
that's
know.
what they watched. They didn't
Listen.
watch the sitcoms.
No, we had like
This is
full.
what
We had like
they-
Full House, and then
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Family Matters. I
Jade
watched a lot.
Jade liked those.
Yeah,
Damn,
Fresh
so-
Prince of Bel Air too. That's another banger.
I know. That's what I mean. It's like I'm
Oh.
thinking about all these now. Like now I'm thinking about they're coming to me. Like, damn. I remember I
Even
used to.
Steven.
Oh, Facts of Life. That was the one.
Oh,
so
Facts
many.
of Life was
Yeah.
good.
I used to
That
like
was-
Dexter.
Dexter's
Oh my
Laboratory.
God.
Dexter stories. Yeah,
My laboratory.
dude, so good.
DD. That's the best.
But I'm not even joking. Like 100% serious. Like my jam was Tom and Jerry.
yeah, dude.
I would
Tom and
watch a
Jerry's great,
lot
yeah.
of Tom and Jerry.
on
Yeah, it was
Boomerang
good.
back,
Yeah.
like when.
Like it didn't even matter that it was old. Like it was still so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those really do hold up still. The
They
older
still do.
cartoons, yeah, they really do. I think they were deep because I think what happened was they were making them for kids, but also adults.
Yeah.
You know, whereas now I think most of not all. I mean, obviously you've got a lot of cartoons that are made just for adults.
Yeah, of course.
But the kid cartoons probably now are made mainly for kids. Whereas I think back in the day they were making a lot of like crossover.
There's a lot of
stuff.
jokes you didn't get as a kid
Yeah.
that as
Well,
an
yeah,
adult you're
same
like,
thing
oh.
applies. That's why some people in my class couldn't watch SpongeBob. Is
Yes.
because there's a lot of like those secret
Yeah.
jokes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But we're
that's definitely-
kids, we really don't get it.
You don't,
yet.
and then you look back now, like you go watch SpongeBob, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I can't believe they were talking about this."
Yeah,
Like,
you
it's crazy.
have no clue.
Yeah, no,
but it's
it's-
still being fed into your ears.
But I don't know.
at a
I think
young age.
remember that? Can you punch up Greatest American Hero TV show? Do you remember that?
I do. That was
Ooh.
I watched it. It wasn't
was-
one of my favorites, but it was one of my brother's favorites. So
We can talk about this one after, but I just remember
Yeah,
this
there
one.
it is. it's like right there. That guy right there.
What
yeah.
the hell is that? You guys watched that?
yes.
So basically, what it was is somehow it had to do something like this guy on the left was like the CIA or something like that, and then like the guy in the middle was just some normal dude
That is not a
like came across
superhero.
no, he wasn't. He came across like a UFO, and he got these superpowers, and he didn't know how to use them. Remember, he didn't know how to use them. He
Yeah.
couldn't, and when he flew, he'd like fly into the wall.
Oh,
and
no way.
He would do
Yeah.
like he had no idea like his strength or anything else
really
like that. And it was like funny, because he was like not really a superhero.
Yeah.
He
You
was
know,
just-
this reminds me, Mork from Ork.
oh yeah, that was a good one.
That's
that
a
was a good
banger.
one. Yeah, that was a good one. Of course, Robin Williams, who's just
Dude,
always amazing.
I just remembered one of my favorite. This is definitely It has to be in the top 3. George Lopez.
Oh yeah, dude. George
you were
Lopez was
obsessed with
banging.
that show
I
for
know.
so long.
I watched that. I watched so much of that show.
The thing is that like that show would come on while I was getting like ready for school in the morning. So like I'd be sitting down having breakfast, and like
That's
that would be
weird.
on. There's that other one I can't remember the guy's name on it.
Mine would be on Nick at Night, man. That's when I would be
Nick at
able to
Night
watch
too,
that.
yeah.
It would be nighttime. I'd be able to watch that.
It's so good.
So is there any Noah? Is there any of those shows? I mean, you know, you've seen some like Tom and Jerry you talked about. I mean, do you wish you would have had more of that stuff, or is there something you figure you missed out on when you were a kid? Like,
No.
man, back in the day, that
I don't think they missed
No
out
clue,
on
man.
anything.
The only thing. Okay, so this isn't TV show oriented, but this is childhood oriented. The only thing I missed out on a kid is a neighborhood with friends.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
had no kids on my neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's-
unfortunately,
so-
neither one of our
Dude.
kids had that. Yeah.
So I hear these stories about people like
Yep.
you know,
Oh man.
in their
Growing up with
childhood,
neighborhoods
growing
with
up with
kids, yeah.
and then you guys hop on bikes and you ride away. The only time I could do that was if I was visiting a friend's house, you know, and
Yeah.
I went to a small school. Like there was just the adventure aspect that I can never do because I'm not a kid. I missed out on a lot of adventure.
yeah.
It sucks, but there was nothing I could do about it. There's
Yeah, we just
nobody
didn't,
to.
yeah, we just didn't live in neighborhoods that had a lot of kids on the
Yeah.
street.
I know.
Which is weird because, you know, like the neighborhood that, you know, we live in now are starting to have a bunch of kids again.
Yeah.
And when I was younger,
Well, I think
there was
that
a lot
it's
of kids
always
over there.
it's kind of like cyclical.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And we
Yeah,
were
'cause
just
when- yeah,
there,
yeah.
and they were already older, but there was no
Yeah.
younger. Like
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I grew up on, you know, with my obviously my mom on Cunningham, it was there were tons of kids. I mean, like tons of
That's
kids.
what I mean. There was none for me. Like
I
there
never
was.
had that either, though. I grew up in so many houses because we moved so much,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like the only family I had were my cousins. So
We used to do flashlight tag in the neighborhood.
Yes,
You know, like we'd
manhunt.
have like, you know, just tons of, you know.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
it
the
was
thing
cool.
is like,
Yeah.
you're right. Like that was in where your house was. Like we did those things, but I would have to go to my friend's house
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
them.
And then you don't
sucks,
know
yeah.
all the kids there either. You know your friend and maybe
Yeah.
loosely know some of the neighborhood kids.
Yeah, you
but
get to
it's not your neighborhood.
learn them over
kids.
time. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Like I just kind of like I just wish that maybe like there was a group of like 6 friends like that I had, and then maybe we could hop on some bikes and just
And
tear
get
up
out
the
there.
streets.
Yeah.
You know,
I get it.
never
Yeah.
had that. I wonder
Yeah.
what that would
I
be
guess
like.
we never really thought about that. Like with if you think about that with different things, like we were looking for neighborhoods, or we were
Yeah,
looking
we're
for
looking for-
homes.
yeah.
We weren't looking for say like Jade and Michael just
Yeah.
bought their home, and
Oh my
like their
God.
houses is
Yeah.
there's so many kids in their
Yeah.
whole
I
neighborhood. And I
Yeah.
think they kind of looked for that where we didn't
Yeah.
think to
Yeah.
do that. So.
I was just talking.
Sorry.
I was telling.
You're fine.
I was telling your mom about Jade's neighborhood and how it's almost like the perfect neighborhood in the sense
I
that
hate it.
you don't like it.
No,
Why? Too white. Too white.
it's not too white. It's too safe.
too safe.
I like
yeah.
a little.
Grunge.
I like a little grunge. I like a little rough around the edges. You
I
know what
agree,
mean?
bro. I agree.
It's like I don't mind where our house is at. Like I just wish that we had more friendly neighbors or
Yeah.
just different neighbors. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
I don't
just, we
mind
just
where our
have we
house
just
is
have
at.
old neighbors. Yeah, that's why they're crotchety. But
Jade's
but
house.
Jade's, yeah, it's
I feel like I'm in a nuke town, man.
it is it legitimately is
It
like something
feels
out of the
Nuketown.
50s. It's like out of the 50s.
I
or
hate
something
it,
like
man.
That.
I hate
But
it.
I think what I was saying about it is
But I
that I
guess
think it's
everybody
interesting
has theirs.
because it's like it is out of a sitcom. I mean,
Yeah,
it
it's a
really is.
sitcom.
It's
Like cookie cutter,
Yeah,
right?
it's so bizarre because like all the neighbors know each other. They all share everything. It is,
Sharon.
yeah,
Would you like some fucking mac and cheese later? It's
Yeah.
Kraft.
yeah.
This
we-
shit ain't homemade.
Yeah, we had
I
some
need
leftovers.
some butter to do my banana bread.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
right?
You know, it's weird, but I think what I was saying is that it's like a really nice neighborhood,
Super nice.
but not so nice. And this is what I was talking to you about, Laura. Is like the next step up from her neighborhood. Like you go there and they're like, you know, they're working on their lawn. I mean, they're the biggest thing in these guys' minds is like, my lawn's got to be great. You know what I
I
mean?
gotta impress the other people.
Whereas the next step up from the neighborhood, you pay people to do your lawn,
Yeah.
right? Like that's as nice of a neighborhood as you're going to get, where people are still out there
Doing
trimming,
their own stuff.
doing their own
Yeah.
stuff. Once you get that next level, it's like then you just hire people to take care of your lawn, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about the neighborhood is that I think it's cool, you know. And I never had in my we've never had in our adult life neighbors that we could just go hang out with and have a bonfire
Which
with.
is awesome. Like, that's
Yeah.
a great thing. We used to have it in New Jersey, but like obviously from moving, you don't really meet people that quick. But it's great.
And it sucks because it's not like we're not friendly
does
people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the age range, man. It's like even if our house is further down the street, we'd probably have more friends.
Well, can I tell
We're
the
surrounded
truth
by
of what's
old
behind that?
people.
What's that?
Honestly, the truth behind that in both of our places
Let's hear it.
is when we lived in our first house and the beginning of living in our second house, we still had snakes in our house.
And so we didn't want people
and
over.
we couldn't let the neighbors know because
Yeah,
if
that's
they
true.
knew and said something, we'd be
Yeah.
in trouble.
That
So
is-
we
that's
always had to
valid.
distance ourselves.
Yeah, but it's been so long since we've
Well,
had.
now
But
it
I,
has.
I agree with you. I do agree with
Yeah.
you that
and I
was
think
like
that's
the start
what kept
of it.
it too.
Yeah,
That could be true.
Yeah, it's
It is.
true. Yeah, it's definitely true on our original house for sure. The second house maybe. Yeah, I mean, but even if we didn't have, I mean, we weren't going to be our neighbors, our immediate neighbors to
Well,
both
we
sides
lived
are
in your grandma's house,
right.
So
So
it was a whole older generation that were already there.
So people don't know about what happened was we tore our grandma's house down and built a house in its spot. So it's her property, and so we knew the neighbors since I was a kid. I mean, I was 2 weeks old when my grandma moved in that property, and so they did have that neighborhood where they were all friends. I remember growing up. Over my grandma's all the time, and they would all have like huge parties in their backyards, and they were all super friendly. But of course, by the time we came around, my grandma had passed away. Obviously, my grandpa
were
had
all
passed away,
older and
they
didn't
were
do
all
that
old.
anymore.
And then when we
Bitter.
tore her house down and built a house in its spot. They were kind of bitter about that too. Of
course they
are. Although obviously,
Only one was.
well, I think a bunch of them were.
What do you mean, man? They all look at us. They all give us the fucking eye, man. I'm just like, I don't even like you. Stop looking at me. What the fuck are you looking at me for?
And maybe that's why they don't like you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you get home and you see old ass motherfuckers peeking through the blinds.
Yeah.
It's like go fuck off. What are you looking at? Like it's the same shit in a different day. What are you looking at?
Yeah, they're unfortunately.
We do have
yeah.
some nice younger neighbors. They're
Yeah,
just
they're nice.
not
Young,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
just not
It's just
nice.
our old neighbors are the type that literally call the police if we don't cut our lawn every week. I mean, they call it on the cops and be like, "They didn't cut their lawn this week."
Yeah.
But
What are we gonna do about
Yeah,
it?
but anyways, that's enough bitching about our neighbors.
You want a couple super chats?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure. So Mike actually comes back in and says, "Man, I just bought a T7i to record my snakes and stuff. Hopefully get my YouTube going. I think I'd cry if I dumped it anywhere and it broke.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
It
bro.
hurts,
Get ready
but-
for it.
But
Yeah, we broke.
Brian's
I
a
break.
pro at it.
I break a lot. I think I've went through.
There's a
There's
graveyard,
gotta
a
be-
literal
yeah,
graveyard.
There's got to be at
of
least a
G7s.
dozen. Yeah, there's got to be at least 15.
Yeah,
probably
probably
15 that I've killed over there. And then Panasonics, I've killed a bunch of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
So,
you're
yeah.
using your camera a lot, it's gonna
Yeah.
break. It
Well,
just
Well,
Kill it.
Casey Neistat said that though. That's why Casey didn't put a lens cap cover on.
Yeah.
As he always said, like I need to use my camera, and it's got to always be
It's a
available.
tool,
And if I have a lens cap on, I may miss a shot. I'd rather sacrifice a lens every now and then or a camera every now and then to get every shot I want than to have protected.
You've embraced that.
And I've embraced that.
I've embraced
the
it.
fuck out of that.
You know what's one thing in photography is so amazing. It's like back in the day, back when like Jordan played and Magic Johnson and all these people,
Yeah.
like the that era,
Yeah.
right? The pictures still had to be developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would literally be like, you'd have your big rig, right? And you'd be like, tsk.
Yeah.
But you
One
wouldn't
shot,
be able to see,
yeah.
and you'd just be like,
Oh, yeah,
maybe
dude.
that was a good
Did I
one. Like
get
that
it?
might have been a good one.
Yeah, and you couldn't do burst of 100 pictures.
Yeah.
I read this. I read this article about this guy that took a picture of Dennis Rodman, right? And Dennis was literally vertical in the air,
Oh my God.
chasing a rebound. He dove for a rebound.
Yeah.
Perfect shot
got
of
it.
Dennis, but he had no clue that he got the shot until it was in the paper.
Oh yeah,
Oh, my
dude.
God.
He read his name underneath it, and he was like, "Oh
That
my
was
god,
my shot?
Yeah, he was just like, "I thought that was a good one. That's amazing." I was like, "I
That
can't
worked
believe
out
I
good.
took that shot."
yeah.
Yeah, because you
sure.
got to think you didn't know if it was exposed correctly,
Right.
Yeah.
Then you
No
also
clue.
didn't know if your shutter speed maybe was like a
Yeah.
little too slow.
Well, that's what the whole
amazing.
right the f-stop right or whatever
Right,
where
right,
you
yeah.
measure out.
You would use a light meter to measure the light in the scene, and
but then what was it the focal length?
Yeah,
The focal length where you would literally take a tape measure and measure out how many feet you need to be in focus.
Yep.
When you had a prime lens. when because it's not going to be in focus if you're 4 feet,
Yeah.
but if it's 4 or 5 inches.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about because I
Yeah.
had the little disposable.
It's like you're it's just like this, Mom. You know how like when I'm like, hey Mom, look at this thing that's real small on my phone, and you're like, no, push it back.
Okay.
I can't focus.
I'm gonna
push it back.
I'm gonna really.
That's what it's like.
I'm going to really date myself. I'm assuming you're going to remember this, but remember the cameras that had literally you'd have to plug the flashes in? They'd have like 10
yeah.
flashes.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And each
There
flash would
wasn't
be
10,
like, okay,
there was like four.
Four,
because they
yeah.
had each side.
Yeah,
it
there was
like
a cube.
poof,
It was a
poof.
cube.
Yeah, flash
you-
cube. That's what
yeah,
it's called.
flash cubes. Yeah. So literally you'd put, because you didn't have a flash on your phone or anything like that. So you put a cube on the top of your camera, and after each one, you would have to unplug it and turn it to the next one to shoot the next. And then once you're out of the 4, you have to throw it away and get a new one.
And the film,
Crazy, right,
the
dude? We're
film
so
that,
lucky.
Like had like it was like a cartridge almost that went in the back, and it would like
Yeah, you have
came
to wind
like,
it. You have to.
yeah, and then after
I remember.
every
Yeah,
picture.
we're old. We're old, man.
That's
I
pretty
think about it
insane.
all the time because, like, I learned photography rather quickly, and because I was able to like check in my mistakes and like see
Yeah,
like, oh well,
super fast.
that looked bad, so I'm gonna try something different. But this, it's like you had to
No.
really
Yeah.
like wait
Yeah.
until you develop.
You just
film.
hope and prayed, and that if they're blurry, oh well, these are your childhood photos.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's your memories
Yeah.
from the one time on vacation. There you go.
Usually there was like
I
weird
need-
colors.
I've been wanting to look at my childhood photos, all 10 of them.
All 10.
Oh, are you kidding me? There's so many.
Yeah, your mom's got
Good.
a lot of
So
them.
many.
Yeah.
I don't
I was
know.
literally just thinking this the other day.
wanna look at some.
Actually, I don't know what made me think of it, but that's what I was thinking is mine, because obviously my mom's got albums and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I was thinking about that, and then obviously your guys's too. It's been a while.
It has
Yeah, we
been a
haven't looked
while.
at- Yeah, we
Time
haven't looked
to
at-
bring them out, and then I
Yeah.
felt bad
I
because
agree.
I was thinking about you.
No, I have none.
You have
I
none?
literally have a picture. Literally, I have a picture when I was, which I don't think it's me.
I was thinking the
I do
same
not
thing.
think it's me.
It was
I look
the
like an
Eskimo.
Eskimo. I look like a fucking
He was
Eskimo.
forward with a
No,
solid
and
black head of hair,
yeah.
according to Daddy.
Yeah, she says it's me. She says it's me, but it's a baby with jet black hair
the
that
fuck
looks
up.
like an Eskimo.
Shut
She
up.
claims it was me,
Dude.
so I have that picture.
What the
Then I think I have
Not
like
you.
I think flash forward to like second grade.
yeah, like second grade. I've got the bowl cut
Yo,
with the
He
plaid.
was the third child.
Yeah.
There's like
Mom
hardly any
do
pictures
not
of him.
care. What the fuck?
Legitimately, not one picture from the Eskimo till second grade.
That's so
She's
crazy.
like, you just changed.
Yeah.
She's like, your hair just got lighter.
She literally told me the story.
Like,
she
Mom,
said,
I'm blonde.
It grew out, she says, it grew out blonde. And at his first
Yeah.
haircut, they cut off the black. I'm
That's
like,
what she
really?
says, but I don't think so
Really?
because it doesn't look anything like.
You know what else was big in the 70s? Crack.
Yeah. No, that's so I don't think I had any pictures. Yeah, no, I don't.
That's crazy.
That's
He's
insane.
got a few.
That is
He's got a
insane.
few.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures of my brother though.
He was
Yeah.
the first. That's
yeah, a
why.
lot of pictures of my brother.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good for him.
Good thing those mice ate it all up.
Oh,
Yeah.
just desserts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I-
payback. Honestly, I don't see any problem with that.
No, it all.
It wasn't his. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't
No.
his
What
fault.
Drake
that-
say? That's God's plan.
God's
God's plan.
It wasn't his fault that my parents hated me.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Actually, it was just my mom. My dad wasn't around, so
So it worked out.
let's move on.
We got Isaac who says, "How's it going, everyone? Are Mangrove monitors fair, easy to take care of? I've always wanted to get one. There's a lot back home at Guam."
You know, I wouldn't say they're easy to care for. They're not like a calm monitor, right? You know, they're not a big monitor, but they're a mid-sized monitor.
Argus
And,
monitor size, roughly, or-
Argus monitor size, maybe
Okay.
even a slightly smaller.
Okay.
Well, no, about that size, right in that range. But they are a little high-strung, much like Argus monitors. You know, so very pretty monitors, though. So, but I would say they do like a lot of water as well. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome. SJ Moody says, "Would you talk about Ben and Jerry's digestive tract? I don't understand how they eat at the same time."
You know, it's a great question. You know, I don't know the answer. I was just literally on the tour today. I was talking to Chris and Anna about that I want to give them sonogram to find out
Yeah,
what's
we
going
had
on.
talked about it.
Yeah,
talked
and then
with the
you know
vet,
the
and
the
then-
vet was in, and then obviously now we were real busy, so we didn't do it, and now it's not something you can do. But it is interesting how they obviously their esophagus have to join at some point.
Yeah.
But do they go
because
to the same stomach, or
the
do they
poop
go
comes
to?
out one hole.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and in their neck, they obviously it doesn't get stuck in the neck somewhere where
Right.
one esophagus ends or
Yeah,
dead. You know,
yeah.
so I don't know. It'll be really interesting.
100% goes to the same, unless it has 2 stomachs, but 1 colon.
Right, and that's a possibility, but
Yeah.
it's doubtful. I
Yeah.
would think that
Because it would be like enlarged area.
You would think, but I don't know. I don't know.
It really would be a. I know things are
one
hard
day,
right now.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think
we
it would be
really should as soon as we
amazing to
can because it would be a
get the-
cool video too.
Yeah.
CAT scanner. The
Yeah, I think what
X-ray
she
or
said was
whatever
she
it
wanted
is.
to put dye in it and then sonogram
Contrast,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
contrast dye in it, and then that's what she had told me. She was
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
do. So we'll
not-
do that. We'll do
Yeah.
that.
I
Cool.
think that would be awesome. Just to,
Probably
because
be a good video too.
Dude, imagine
I
like
think,
bringing
yeah,
the 2-headed snake to a vet. Like that could be cool looking too.
Yeah,
like,
that
just
would
the
be-
whole thing.
the video would be cool. But then I think actually also having the picture
To show people.
to have next to the cage or
yeah, so
something,
people,
just to
yeah,
be
to
like,
explain it.
look at this, guys. Like this is
Yeah.
so unique. Like look at the way these 2 body parts interject into one.
Right,
and
yeah. No, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I
think it would
definitely
be
want to do it.
awesome.
I definitely want to do it when we can get back to some normalcy.
do it.
You know, for sure.
Cool.
Okay.
So we got Peggy says, I love you guys. You inspired me to get my rhino iguana baby last week.
Oh.
Super jealous.
Man.
Urza is the name and super excited. Thanks, guys.
That's
Ezra.
those are
Ezra?
those are the
Ezra,
best.
Ezra,
Ezra.
whatever.
Ezra.
Ezra.
Urza.
They're really
Rhinos
special.
are great. They are really special.
They're so cool.
Like, have you messed with Diddy and Dixie lately?
Yeah, they love people
They like literally rush out of the cage when you
And, like,
open the
climb up
cage.
your
to
leg
get
and-
attention.
Yeah, they just want to hang out with you. You know, it's crazy.
Awesome, right? It's awesome to have the feeling of receiving love back from a reptile.
Yeah, and that's something I think that we've been talking. You know, we talk about it a lot at the Reptarium about how, and it's wild how like Lori and I have been doing this for 30 years, and how my perception of reptiles' intelligence can change so dramatically just in a short period of time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in the last 2 years, I've radically changed my viewpoints on how smart not just monitors and lizards are, but snakes. As a matter of fact, today we did the second training session for Night Fury, because Night Fury is very food driven. So I got bit about a week and a half ago while I was on a tour, by the way. But thankfully it just nipped me. I mean, I bled quite a bit, but it didn't. It tried to grab me, and I was able to get away before it grabbed me. But it wasn't like it was mean. It was just that it was hungry. And so we thought, well, we've had such success with the ball training and target training with the lizards. Let's try it with the snakes. And ironically enough, a zoo reached out to me because I made mention of it in the vlog, and a zoo reached out to me and sent a crazy video. I have to share that with you, Jay, so that
Yeah.
maybe we can put it into a vlog. And they literally, with a rattlesnake, go in with a ball. Now, this is crazy. They go in with a ball on a stick with a rattlesnake. The rattlesnake comes out, follows the ball. Then they actually, once it touches the ball, they put a frozen mouse out. It bites the frozen mouse. Then get this. There's a cup on a stick. They put the frozen mouse in the cup on the stick, and it goes in the cup and gets the mouse.
What?
After it already
After
bit
it bit it. It bites it once, like, okay, now it's dying. And so now they put it over into the cup, like, all right, you bit the live mouse even though it was frozen, and now it died in the cup. And that snake remembered not only to follow the ball, then to bite, then to
the
go to the
hell?
cup to get the
Wow,
prey.
it's so crazy.
It was really cool.
That's
So
too much for me. I don't know
Yeah,
if
yeah.
a snake would
but
do
all
it.
I want to do with Night Fury is to just basically say, hey, this ball means there's food, and when you don't see the ball, there's no food. So we did it the first time about a week ago, and he followed the movement of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, today I opened up the cage, showed him the ball, constricted the ball.
Yeah,
bit
like
the ball,
immediately.
and bit the ball and constricted it.
It was crazy.
Yep, I mean, bit the ball and
I mean,
constricted
he
it.
is a retic, and
He is
they
a retic,
are
yeah.
one of the higher intelligent snakes.
So now I've got to figure out how do I get him to follow the ball and not attack it.
Huh.
lightning quick reflexes.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, but then you're kind of avoiding what you're
point.
trying to. The point is
Of
you
the
want him
touch.
to, you want him to touch it without biting it before. So it's a little bit of a work in progress.
is
but
that what you do with the monitors? They touch it.
yeah, we
Yeah.
want them to always
Gotta-
touch the ball before
Yeah.
they.
I say a
They
little-
touch it.
I say a little boop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bite it then.
Not all the
Not all the
time.
time.
Rarely.
We try,
Very
we try
rarely.
not to. Yeah, we're trying to teach him not to bite the ball.
Yeah.
But only do that. So it's a work in progress. But my point is look at how smart that Retic is.
Immediately.
In 2 times, he immediately knew the ball was food.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty crazy.
It was cool.
Well, like you
It is
said,
crazy.
I realized that too because we already knew that they seem to be a higher intelligent kind of snake.
I mean, like just think about wild crocodiles for a second.
Yeah.
In like Africa,
Yeah.
where literally the local Africans, right?
Yeah.
The rule is you can't drink water from the same
spot, yeah,
twice
because they'll remember.
the crocodile, once it hears that canteen go under, it
Well,
knows that it's a
They know
chomp.
anyways.
You know what I mean?
Like even RJ.
Yeah.
He knows people.
Oh,
He
he
knows
knows
me
people,
versus
100%.
you because
Yeah.
right from the start, like
Oh, yeah.
you know, I've always told him if he's been on the ledge or been out, I'm always like, hey, we're good. You stay there, I stay here. He sees me. He doesn't hiss. He doesn't do anything because he knows I won't. I'm not messing
gonna
with
fuck
him,
with
and
me.
he's not gonna mess with me.
Right.
When he sees somebody else, then he'll be like, "Oh shit, they're gonna get me."
Especially
here. You know what
me,
I mean?
especially me, because he knows I'm the one that pulls him out, so he treats me
Yeah.
differently. But yeah, even to the point of what you were talking about, Noah, is that they even say don't go. Like if you're camping in Australia or in West Africa or East Africa for that matter, and you're to not go down to the water at the same time of the day.
Wow.
Because they'll remember what time you go down to the water and wait for
Who
you.
wants
hate
to
that.
live in that?
That's what I'm
shit?
saying, Mom.
No,
That's what I'm
thank you.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, thank you. I'll
I
take
love them,
Michigan.
man. And one of the best.
Also, even more with Mom's point of recognition of people, of crocodiles and alligators. Savannah has her own alligators.
Yeah,
at
Blackwater.
Blackwater. I was about to say Blackwater. Yeah, where like they have this special bond where I think I could be wrong, but I think this is what I remember is like they kind of have a special bond. Like
Yeah.
he kind of only. Well, I don't know about only, but just really likes her. Like
Yeah,
recognizes the voice.
he will come
and
to
the-
her where he may not come to anyone else.
Right, like, and not to attack or anything, just be like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up, Savannah?
Yeah, and he knows that she's going to reward him with scratches and with food and all
Yeah.
kinds of other
Yeah.
stuff. So he knows there's a positive reward response for his actions.
Doesn't that
So-
kind of give you goosebumps, though?
Yeah, well, they're super smart. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing about it. You know, it doesn't take long for so many of these animals, and
know.
we've seen this at the Reptarium now.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have to start working on that with Matilda. You know, because obviously we're going to have to be able to train. They target train them with balls too.
What?
Really?
They'll take like a
Let's start doing it.
Yeah, because like let's say they like hibiscus, you know, flowers
Get a
or something like
pink
that.
ball.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
they
you get
love
a
it.
you get a ball that color, and you train them to follow the ball, and then when they finally find the ball, then you give them a treat
What?
of whatever.
Let's do it.
And that's something that, you know, at 135 pounds we can still move her around, but when she's 400 pounds, we're gonna have to get her to move around, and so we should probably start targeting them
Yeah,
too.
that is very true.
You know, and I mean, but we've been seeing across the board with these animals at the Reptarium how quickly they adapt to training. And like I said, me and Bruce have been talking about like how far can we take this? You know what I mean? Like let's try to do things that no one's doing. You know what I mean? With the training side, and we've already done that with a lot of things. Maybe not that no one's doing,
yeah.
but you know, what I mean, we're getting
Progress.
Yeah, we're making huge progress with a lot of these animals, and but
Every
you know,
day.
every animal is different, so it's pretty exciting. Do we have
It
any
is
other, do we have
exciting.
any other
Yeah, we have a
chats?
couple more.
It's really
Uh,
exciting.
So Diamond says, on average, how many days has it taken your ball pythons to lay eggs? Mine just hit her 30th day, and it's her first clutch. I'm hoping she doesn't get egg bound.
So there's a couple things. Number one, I would never stress until at least 40, 45 days. Number two, it's very rare for a ball python to egg bind without laying some eggs. So they'll always lay 1, 2, 3 eggs and then retain 1, 2, 3 eggs. It's almost, I'm not going to say it never happens, but it's very rare for a ball python or any snake for that matter to egg bind without laying at least one egg. They'll always lay at least one egg, you know, because what basically has to happen is that the problem has to occur closest to the vent in order to bind the entire egg. And usually closest to the vent is not where the problem ends. It's usually somewhere up the oviduct where a tear
Midway
happened.
through or
Yeah, a
something.
fold, a tear, a crease, something like that lines. Typically happens farther up in the oviduct than at the vent. So I would not stress, and like I said, 40, 45 days is very common. And I've had them go closer to 50 days and still lay fertile eggs. So although it's rare, you know, typically 25 to 35 days is the wheelhouse.
Yeah, cool. All right. So My Diverse Life says, love and support from Texas. Glad to see you're all still positive. It helps us who have had to adapt so much, knowing we aren't alone. Keep inspiring.
And this is one.
you, buddy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a buddy of mine, good friends with Forrest and stuff like that. Has a cool vlog. He's like a music teacher. He's like the School of Rock guy. You know what I mean? He's like, it's super dope, man, what he does.
Nice.
But he also he's into reptiles. He's into a whole bunch of other stuff. I really enjoy following all of his stuff. So you guys go show him some love because it's definitely cool.
Awesome.
All right, next is Shawnee says, "Oh, you can name one of the new additions to the
Oh my
Reptarium,
God,
the Fonz."
that would be sweet. Isn't it ironic for those of you guys that don't know, the Fonz was on Happy Days and was like the cool guy, the biker, the leather
jacket, rocker.
And it turns out that Henry Winkler, who played the Fonz, was like the biggest nerd ever. You know what I mean?
right?
Yeah,
like in
it's
person,
funny.
he's like the biggest nerd.
I remember when
and-
I found that out, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's so funny how he
supposed to
landed,
be, like, the
and he was
coolest
and he
guy.
was a great character. I mean,
Yeah.
he played it so well, and I've always loved him in everything. You know, The Water Boy and every movie he's ever
Oh, yeah,
done. I've
he's
always
good.
loved him. But yeah, it's just so weird that he was like the coolest guy on the planet.
Yeah, and Pinky Tuscadero,
Yeah,
his girlfriend.
yeah, his
You know,
girl,
that was
yeah.
our thing. We'd took our shirts and we'd like tie them and
Yeah.
ride
Oh,
our bikes
gosh.
around,
Yes.
like thinking we were some of the pink ladies.
Yeah, do you remember
what we did.
one of my favorite Happy Days was the
That's right, Tina.
one of my favorite Happy Days was the Demolition Derby one. Do
Oh
you remember
yeah,
that?
Yeah,
And-
yes, I do.
And you know, if you really think about that, like, who the fuck came up with this idea? Let's get in a car and just, smash
it.
into each
But
other.
you know
Oh my
what
God.
though? Honestly, I'd probably still do it today.
Yeah. Well, you know, weirdly enough, you know, Roman Atwood, who's a YouTuber, I guess he's not posting lately. He seems to come and go where he like posts and then he doesn't. And we met Roman Atwood a couple times. We've met him, and we were supposed to many times do collabs with Roman. He would always back out and stuff. He's from Columbus, Ohio, so he's
Right,
a
yeah,
you
he
know,
was
close guy.
close.
Nice, really nice guy, super nice guy. But about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, he was going to do a YouTube celebrity demolition
Oh,
derby.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he said he wanted 50 cars and 50. So, but this is how it went. Like initially, he was like, "I'm not talking about the biggest YouTubers. I want smaller YouTubers. I want blah, this is going to be a community type thing." And then within like a week, you had like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, like every major YouTuber on the planet was on the list. And I remember like obviously I know Logan, I know. Several of the other guys, including my manager, Greg, is good friends with Logan. Howie Mandel's son, Alex, is who I know is good, like best friends with Roman. And we reached out to everybody because I was trying to reach out to Roman saying, I'd love to be a part of this. And he was just blowing me off. I mean, like wouldn't return a text, wouldn't return a message,
weird.
wouldn't return an email. And so then like all his good friends were also contacting him, and he was blowing all them off about it. So I was like, what is this guy like just not want me in this thing? But it ended up turning out weirdly enough that it just went away. Like he did this huge
Didn't
promotion
happen,
of
yeah.
it and then just like dropped it. I mean, he said, "Oh, I've already got 50 cars lined up. They're going to start making them all identical. It's going to be the biggest YouTube event ever," which could have very well been. And then he just kind of stopped doing it, didn't follow through.
Weird. So weird.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And then he stopped vlogging recently. I don't think he because I just saw the other day someone say like, "Please come back." Roman.
Interesting.
So I don't know if he's stopped, but he's still a good dude, man. He's still a good guy, and like I said, the few times I've talked with him and met him, he's always been super friendly to me. So
Cool. We got Sherry Tap says, nothing, just threw $10 for love.
hey, thank you, Sherry.
Courtney says, love to meet up with you guys. Could show you Torch
Oh,
Lake
Torch
also.
Lake.
So Torch Lake, do you know this? Did you know this?
I don't know this.
Torch Lake, I think is. Can you look up Torch Lake real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah.
if you don't mind? I think it's in the top like 5 or 10 lakes in the world.
I know
In
about
the
Torch
world.
Oh, wait. I feel like you've
Top
showed me
what?
this before.
Like, what is
Torch
it top
Lake-
for?
Like for its beauty.
Beauty. Look at that.
And it's
I
in
mean-
Michigan. And it's supposed to be like one of the top in the world.
I mean, look at that. It looks like the Bahamas or something.
Yeah,
You know?
that's in Michigan.
So crazy.
So yeah, reach out.
is.
We'd love to come up and we'll bring Corona with us.
I know. What do you call it? Me and my cousin, we were just talking about how Michigan's like really slept on.
Dude, seriously,
it
especially
is.
the UP and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
really
it's
nice.
so beautiful, man. It's so beautiful.
But let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Just stay at home,
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah,
so you
stay
guys,
away.
Yeah, you
Don't
guys
come
don't come
here.
here. It's
Michigan's
horrible.
horrible.
Top
Yeah,
10
you ever hear
worst
of
lake.
Flint? we're not doing
We're
well.
not good.
That's actually Photoshopped. This is top 10 worst lakes.
Yeah.
But literally, who is that from? Who's that from? I'm sorry.
That was
Courtney. Courtney, literally,
Hershevak
please
or Hershek?
reach out to us, please, because I that's like tops on my list. And if things get better this summer, I think we should go to Torch Lake.
Let's do it.
Sure.
I'm all about that.
Where is it?
I love
Like
Bali.
I don't know exactly where it's in Upper
On the
Michigan.
mid?
I think it's in the mid. I don't think it's UP.
It's in it.
I think it's like up towards the Traverse City area, but I could be completely wrong. Let's see a map.
Interessante.
Let's see. You could just go to maps, I think, and yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So Torch Lake is
Oh, look,
kind of
it's
up there.
by Auntie Elena, because look, there's Old Mission
Yeah.
Peninsula. It's up by Traverse City.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right by Traverse.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were probably within 20 minutes
hell
of it.
yeah.
So we can make a stop. We go to Traverse City,
Oh
and
my
then we
gosh.
make a stop
Hell
at
yeah.
Torch.
So listen, so
Wine
here's the map of
tours
Michigan,
at
right?
Torch Lake.
Can you put that map of Michigan
Yeah,
back
yeah.
up?
Oh, that's
so
why I
can you
know.
point
Our
to
friend
Mackinac,
Darcy.
the Straits of Mackinac, right?
Right here, right?
Torch Lake.
So we stayed. Our place used to be up by Lake Superior at the top. So we stayed right where your cursor is.
Yeah.
Basically, and one night, and we went
Yeah.
to Dark Sky Park.
Dark Sky Park.
No.
Yes.
Dark Sky Park, which is like
Yeah. It
Terrifying.
was terrifying.
yeah. So Dark Sky Park is like it's like
Why was it terrifying?
Oh,
Dude.
my God.
it was so yeah.
Hey, it was on one of the brightest moon days of the year.
Which
Yeah,
is not when you want to
well,
go
exactly.
to
Dark
It
sky,
was
you wanna go
super
new-
moon
you wanna go
is
new
what
moon.
It was.
Yeah. And
It
so
was
we
the
yeah.
oldest moon possible.
Yeah, but it was this trail that like was deep in the woods,
Deep.
and it went for
And
like
it's the woods, so
it's the
there's no
woods.
lights.
Yeah, yeah.
there's
and then
no
weirdly
whatever.
enough, I'm sure in the daytime it was
Bro.
cool, but there were like these like cut out like figurines.
Cardboard.
signs
Oh,
of like
I do
people.
remember this.
Like
Yeah.
so we'd be coming up
I
and
don't
it
even
looked
think-
like people or beings
Yeah.
or
Wasn't it
something were
beings?
coming out
Oh, you
of
know
the
what it was,
freaking
though?
forest.
I think it was actually like the like the
Constellations?
constellation
Yeah.
like Taurus.
Oh, no
It was
way.
Zodiac
terrifying.
There were
is what it was
signs.
Yeah.
because we were shitting ourselves.
Did you guys see a person while you were there too?
Yeah, well, this is
running?
Yes, I do remember the story.
Yeah, so we're walking. We're probably a mile into this hike. It's
know.
dark. It's like the moon is lighting, but it's moonlight, so
Yeah.
it's dark and it's
eerie.
freaky as hell. And all of a sudden, we just see this flashlight like bouncing towards us, like in the distance. And then finally, as it gets closer, there's this woman that's running.
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
and-
full force, just
yeah, full force running, and we
doesn't
go
stop.
Yeah, and she goes,
As
And
she's
no,
running by.
This is what we go. We go, are you okay? She says, I just got to get out of here.
Oh
She's
shit!
And we're
running,
just like-
never stop. Just choo choo choo.
I just
we're
gotta
like,
get out of here.
just
We're
gotta
like,
get out
what
of
the
here.
hell are we doing?
And then you're walking the way she's coming
Yeah.
down, right?
Yeah, we're like,
100%. Yep.
are we sure we should keep going down the path?
But we did.
She's got to get
because
out of
That's
the...
what we do.
She gotta get out of here.
Okay.
Out of here because
Okay.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the thing is, we got all the way down there, and we couldn't see shit because it's
'Cause super moon,
So
yeah.
everything's lit up. We couldn't see any
was
of the dark
literally the
sky.
supermoon.
And
It
then
was
we
a
had to walk
supermoon.
Yeah.
all the way back through
Yeah.
the terrifying
Forest.
forest. again.
That's so creepy, guys.
It was so scary.
Yeah, it was good, but can you punch up Dark Sky Forest? It's actually interesting or Dark Sky Park.
Okay.
What's
Yes.
interesting is that there's only so many in the entire world,
Yeah.
and what it is you have to have lack of light pollution. So
Is it headlands?
And not a super sun.
nah,
Moon.
that's in
Not a super-
Headlands, but
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
I'm surprised. So yeah, so Michigan's second international dark sky makes its
Cass County, maybe.
yeah. So
I don't
you know, and literally there are places obviously all over the world that don't have light pollution,
Yeah.
but
Well,
for
we
whatever
were super
reason,
excited because
yeah.
we're like, oh, look it, there's one. We're already going
Yeah.
up there, and then super moon.
And not only that,
Yeah,
but in the
super
United
moon.
States, especially on the East Coast to here, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of places where you can.
Yeah,
get no
and that's
light
why it was
pollution.
so special. It's
Yeah.
like so to become a dark sky
Dude,
park, you have
it
to
was a
have like
great
the
memory.
lowest light pollution
Yeah.
possible. It was cool.
At Uncle Bill's place, you could see the northern lights sometimes.
Yeah, you could see northern
Literally,
lights,
the
yeah.
northern lights.
I know, yeah.
What do you call it? Because Brandon and Courtney, my cousins, they visited my uncle up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And like I remember getting a call from Auntie, and she telling me that they saw the northern lights and I missed out. And I said, like I didn't really
It's a
care at the
bummer.
time,
Right.
but
No,
it was just like, yeah, that would be cool
One
to
of the-
see, right?
Yeah, one of the last times I went there before my uncle died, that they were projecting northern lights that night, and it didn't happen.
Damn.
And I was really bummed. So I've been up there, but you can literally see the Milky Way
Universe.
the
Yeah,
Milky Way
yeah.
galaxy up there, and satellites. You can see satellites going. I mean, it's crazy. I used to love just sitting out back by the campfire,
Oh, yeah.
out behind the house, and
Just
just
looking
looking up at
Staring
the
up,
sky.
right?
You know, I mean, it was so beautiful.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's
because we
awesome.
can't really do that to extent, you know.
I mean,
We
you
can-
guys barely because you're so close to the city that it's.
Yeah,
like,
we see. Yeah, we see some stars, but
you know what I mean? we might
it's
catch
like-
a little dipper every now and then.
Yeah, Venus was out though recently.
Yeah,
Is it
We,
still
bright-
out?
we
bright
tried
as
to
hell.
see that meteor shower.
Yeah, we tried to see the meteor
it
shower,
was
but it
too
was
damn
like
cold.
36 below zero.
I feel like there's always
real cold.
one planet that's shining bright. You know
There's
what I mean?
there's usually a few in the night sky, but
Right.
Venus was like super
was-
duper bright, like
yeah.
and big too, like bigger than I've seen. Like I love that stuff too.
Guys, so this is really interesting. That's something we don't really think about unless it's brought to our attention.
What's that?
So you know how we can see our moon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, when you look at it, right, you think, oh, that's small, right?
Yeah.
Because it's far away. So
Yeah,
our
yeah.
perspective is that the moon is small.
Yeah.
Huge.
There are planets in different galaxies that they will have, let's say, 4 different moons to their planet,
Sure.
and they'll be like close.
Yeah.
So it's like you see this giant
Yeah.
sphere, which is like another world
Yeah.
floating
in
in,
your
your
sky.
sky.
Yeah.
It's not just blue skies like we have here on Earth.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
other planets
Yeah.
rotating around. Like
It's wild.
I
Yeah,
saw-
plus there's dual suns. in
obviously
some
I've
places,
never
so-
been on a planet, but I saw animated recreation, right,
Yeah.
of how it would look, and it just really blew my mind. Like everything is just
to think
You
of like a
wonder-
double moon set or something
Yeah.
like that.
You
right?
wonder. You wonder what. You wonder if in our life we will colonize Mars. You know, I know
don't
right
know.
now. I just
It's
saw
hard to say.
I saw a show about how they had that a company, and I can't remember.
Isn't that what Elon Musk?
Well,
is
Elon
Yes.
Musk definitely
My
is
boy's on
is trying hard, and it might have been his company that did it. They asked for, people that wanted to go, but it was one-way ticket.
right.
You're not coming back.
Have you guys ever heard of the thing? They're saying that what is on Mars can only be on Mars from nuclear war.
Yeah. There's an element on Mars that only comes from a nuclear blast.
Explosion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes they're like, well, where did the nukes come from? Like, was there actually some sort of life on
Yeah, I mean,
Mars
a lot of
prior?
people-
Like, what
a lot of
happened?
people. That's what a lot of people think. They think we
Right.
are Martians. That
Yeah,
basically
I've heard
one
that.
day Mars was us, and then,
And then
we
we
colonized the Earth.
Yeah.
Because we needed to get off of Mars.
But the only thing that I will say that doesn't make sense is we have history of everything we've done here. Why wouldn't we have history of that as well?
well, if you really think about it, again, who knows? I mean,
One
but-
emperor can
yeah.
destroy like a whole library of books, and you wouldn't even know that stuff happened. Like back in the
Right?
day,
Maybe
you
there
know?
was a prehistoric Hitler that actually won though. You know, we stopped Hitler, but maybe there was a prehistoric Hitler that actually won and took over the world and destroyed those history
I'm just gonna
books.
say, if that
It is
was
possible.
the case, wouldn't you want everyone to know so it didn't happen again?
Well, I guess the other hole in that whole theory, and I mean, I get what they're saying is that, like, if we were able to colonize Earth from Mars,
yeah.
we would have had the technology to get here,
And not only that,
and
but
then we wouldn't go back to Stone Ages where we can't make fire.
That's what I mean.
yeah,
you know?
there's a lot of that too. Like, because even like
Yeah.
it would be easier to fix
Damn, I
global
ain't got no
warming and Earth and all the problems we have here than it would be to colonize Mars and build a new atmosphere. Like, the technology would be easier to just make here better.
It's interesting. They were talking about. I was reading this article about a guy, and it's really cool how they're starting to come up with like. And again, this is. I mean, you can't get people to fucking wear masks in Michigan.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard for people to like jump on board. But my point is that like zero carbon. You know, so they can actually say if you plant this many trees and do this and this and this, you have zero impact on the even with you driving a car and everything else.
Right.
You have zero impact on the planet if you do this number of things. And if everyone on the planet was willing to do that thing,
Yes.
we would all have zero
Carbon emissions.
Yes.
carbon.
What is that? What is the
Well, I mean,
form?
part of it is planting trees. Part of it is growing your own
How
fruit,
many?
and I don't know.
So,
I mean, I have no idea.
This is an ignorant question, but I'm serious. So planting fruit and stuff helps? Like,
Well, sure, anything that's going to
Grow?
anything that's going to help the just everything, the exchange
The
of
bees and
oxygen and
shit.
carbon and everything else. Yeah,
so grow some fruit.
well, grow everything.
Grow
you
And
know,
you
but-
got to think
but,
too.
you know,
If a bunch of people start growing fruit, the farmer has to ship less fruit to the store, which is like also less carbon
Yeah,
emissions
man.
in that too. Like it goes deeper than just your backyard. You
Yeah,
know?
man, we gotta start planting some fruit and vegetables.
That's
That's
all
what
we
I've
need.
come to. We
That's
need a
all we need
garden.
is some fruit and veggies.
Have you
we
heard?
love garden? We used to garden.
Have you heard of that? They literally are saying that the Amazon forest is just a garden. Because the trees and stuff, it's like there is cities, a ton of cities that they are finding in the Amazon that from when they're tearing up the Amazon to plant these soybean farms and stuff, all these fucking stupid things. They're finding these cities that they've never found before that could have inhabited up to 60,000 people, right?
Yeah,
Just all over the place. They're like, oh my God, these hidden cities.
Yeah.
And the trees in there, they're all very specific, and they're like grown. They're supposed to be grown, like they were picked to be grown, and then they took over because of the thousands and thousands of years of absence of taking care of it. But I heard that recently, and it was just like interesting. It was like these previous colonies that lived in the Amazon actually grew it to what it is today because of what they planted.
It's certainly possible. I mean, everything had to come from somewhere, you know what I mean, originally.
Yeah.
I always think it's interesting how they're not only in the Amazon, but also in, Indonesia, Philippines, islands and stuff like that, where there are literally still tribes that have never had human contact.
That's so wild.
It's
man.
bizarre.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And that's what makes aliens possible in my head. You know what I mean? That's what makes aliens fucking possible. There's people on Earth that don't know what a TV is, man, because they're living in the jungle with a wood stick poking at bats and shit. You know,
right, yeah.
It's like that. So
we're the people in the woods.
We're
and the aliens
fucking
are
aliens
us.
to them.
Yeah, they're okay. That makes sense.
What could be? And
it's fair.
Where's our aliens? Like, obviously, it's meant for us not to see.
Yeah.
Right now.
And that's what we do to those tribes, right? We make them protected so that they can't see a TV, so that we can, as like
study
anthropologists, can look at them and study old
like a
humans.
fucking zoo animal.
Pretty much,
that they are.
But at the same time, those people, and you see that, right? You see those videos of tribes throwing freaking spears at helicopters and shit, So, I mean, they do see us.
And guess what?
And they probably think we're aliens.
Guess what? All of a sudden, they got a fucking wind god. And then they start chiseling the helicopters into stone because they're like, I saw this fucking wind god, and it was just gusting us with all this wind, and we threw spears at it, and then it went away because it got scared. But what was that wind god?
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's I'm sure that's why ancient alien theorists predict.
Dude, the first few seasons of that show were bonkers. Dude.
I always like it. No matter what, the ancient aliens, no matter what, there's always a point in the show. Every show is like. Ancient alien theorists speculate that that's the line.
Sentence.
It's like, no, it's not. There's always this build up, there's these the Anunnaki and and this and this and this and then and then all of a sudden it's like
ancient alien theorists.
The ancient alien theorists, speculate. It was funny. I was in South Africa and we went to a museum there.
I love museums.
Yeah, and this was actually the apartheid museum, which was pretty heavy. And what was that?
What?
I just said really.
Really? Museums are great. But this was the apartheid museum. But walking in, there was all these kind of African-ish type of hieroglyphs or whatever it is, and that's what we were joking about. They're like ancient alien theorists speculate, because it's just true. But I still love that show. I know Lori hates it. I love it.
You watch the most boring shit.
I do watch a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah.
He watches the 80-year-old man shows. But
I'm sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What? Like what?
Fucking hate that one cooking show you put on all the time.
Chopped?
Chopped Loki sucks. I don't give a fuck.
I like Chopped.
Yeah, I know you do. It sucks.
We know.
Dude, it's just like, how many fucking souffles can you make, man? It's like, we get it, Bobby. Bobby Flay.
Bobby Flay's not even on Chopped.
Dude, he makes an
He's
appearance
just on
every now and then.
show.
He fucking makes an appearance. And it's the worst thing ever, dude. We get it. You're cocky. Like, dude, he sets it up. He rigs it. Bobby
Well,
Flay
you're talking
rigs
about
it.
Bobby Flay versus. That's
Dude,
a different
he
one.
rigs it.
Honestly, they all have the same feel. All of those cooking shows.
He fucking rigs it. You know why?
I love cooking shows.
You know why he rigs it? It's because the guest on the show is always whipping his ass.
Yeah.
They're always like,
And then he's gotta-
and they're
he's
like,
gotta
oh
come
yeah,
on
I think
top.
I got Bobby beat.
Nope.
And then
No, you
Bobby
don't.
presents it, and it doesn't even look as good all the time. And then the
But somehow he
chefs,
wins.
yeah, and then the lawyers, what the fuck are they called? The judges,
Judges.
the lawyers up there, the Jews.
Oh my
know.
gosh. Jesus.
It's all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
No.
He always wins.
He
doesn't
always
He
win.
always
doesn't always
wins.
99.9% of the time.
I would say 85%.
No.
He
I'd
always
say, 'cause
wins.
He's a good chef. He's
He's
a good
not.
chef.
Seen
He's
him
dog
win.
shit.
He's a good chef, man.
You've never seen the scrambled egg before.
Right.
Like, I don't even know, man. Like,
I think he's
just
good.
hate
I
that
think he's
show.
a good chef, man.
put on some aliens, you know? That's what I rather watch.
Our buddy Jason Quinn
bit
was
about history.
was on Chop. You know, Jason was on Chop.
Yeah, I know he's on Chubby.
Yeah.
He won that shit.
He actually did, and he came in second.
Oh,
But he should have won.
Probably the Bobby
Sucks.
Flay.
Yeah,
he shoulda
He
won.
should have won.
it's because they rigged it, because Bobby.
But he did win. But he did.
Yeah, Bobby.
He did win the Great Food Truck Race, though.
Yeah, he
did
did.
win that one. He won the Great Food Truck.
catapulted his career.
It did. It did. What do we got?
All right, I got a bunch on my
We got a
phone,
bunch.
okay?
Let's do it.
Let's take
Let's
a
just
couple.
crow.
And
All
then
right.
Yeah,
how about
someone
we
said Lori
chop
needs
this?
to chat more. Yeah, you are quiet tonight, Lori. Not enough wine.
She's spectating.
Yeah, so we got Solus Honky
you're
says
talking
Cop
about a lot of
Rock.
stuff.
Cop Rock was the best, worst ever. I don't know what Cop Rock was. Is that a
I don't
show?
know what
Cop
Cop
Rock?
I'm not
is.
sure what
Dude,
that
I
was.
think that was that person's favorite pastime in the 80s. Cop and rock.
I don't know. I'll
shit.
have to look that one. I don't know if that was an old time one or if that was a new one. We'll have to check that out. But go ahead.
All
yeah.
right, the next one is from Joan, and it just says Kojak. Ha ha ha.
Oh,
Kojak. That's old
was, Yeah,
school.
that was old
I haven't
school
seen that
Kojak.
one.
I didn't really like Kojak that much.
Again,
because
it was one of those things. You watched what was on the TV if
Yeah,
you wanted to watch
yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
and
there was
that's what
there was like
was.
Kojak and then there was Beretta.
Yep.
You know, those were
They were
like
both
yeah.
detectives. Kojak
Yeah,
was
it
bald.
was bald. He always had a sucker in his mouth.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah.
Of course
But he
did.
was a pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. It wasn't one of my favorites, but it was all right.
All right, so we got Sherry says much love and positive vibes from Kentucky.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your enthusiasm
Colonel.
and great content. Hope you get 3 super Lori babies from the eggs. This
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
they
I
are
appreciate it.
awesome.
Namaste.
Yeah, they are good. Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd
Yeah.
be wonderful, splendid.
Alexandra says, Brian, can you tell more paranormal stories sometime?
Yeah, I think we need to do a whole paranormal
Podcast?
podcast, maybe talking
Sure.
about like some of the crazy paranormal stuff.
Let's make it next
and,
week.
And I know that we can make. Why don't we do that next week?
Next week,
Paranormal, is it.
paranormal episode.
Paranormal.
There you go.
And
Podcast.
now
You've spoken
all
it
of us,
into existence.
we have to
Come up with stories.
make our stories, and then we'll
All right.
share it one
There
by
you go.
one.
And then I really do want. I actually messaged Nick Groff today.
I know that name.
He
That's
was
the
he was
old
the
Ghost
original
Adventure.
Ghost Adventures guy.
Oh,
no
So
way.
yeah, so
Now I know who you're
we'll
talking
see if he gets back
Is
to
it?
me.
Okay, yeah. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, so I messaged him today because he started a podcast.
Oh, cool.
And they don't just talk about
Ghosts?
paranormal
Ghosts.
stuff. They talk about like he had like he's big. He like was on Ninja Warrior and stuff like that. He's a big like fitness guy.
Wow.
So he had some like fitness guy on something.
So they're
today,
like us with reptiles.
right, but yeah,
like-
his through story is probably going to be paranormal.
but he talks about other stuff.
But he talks about other stuff, whereas our through story would be animals, but we talk about other things. So
Cool.
hopefully, God willing, we can get him on, and maybe
That'd
we
be
can go
amazing.
back and forth. You know,
I would
maybe-
love that, actually.
But once we can have guests in studio, things change a tremendous amount
I
too.
know.
So let's hope.
I want to be able to grip his hand.
We can't even.
him a good-
Unfortunately, in Michigan, we can't even do the antibody test like Joe Rogan.
Not yet.
You know, not yet.
not there.
You know, so thankfully California is or not thankfully for them, not for us. California's way ahead of us, where like their podcast, they can do antibody tests so that they know that they're okay. We can't do that, so we just have to wait it out.
Yep. All right. Next is Elaine says, bring a lizard to hang out on the podcast.
You know, it's something I've thought about. You know, at times doing maybe having an animal or two.
It
but-
could just get crazy quick.
But
you
yeah,
know?
that's the thing. If things go bad, there's no one to like take it away. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe. I mean,
we'll do it one day, and then I'll be the person to take it away, and I'll just put on a
yeah,
wide.
maybe what we can do is when we have a guest in, maybe like
They
if
chill
we
with it.
had like Bernsey or something like that, and we could have that would be a hilarious thing to have him. You
And
know,
hanging out
snake.
with
yeah.
Toothless or something.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mark says the camera can be replaced, but that shot may never happen again. Love the videos, keep them coming. And that was for
we were talking about. Yep, that's absolutely true, and I agree with that.
And
Unfortunately,
he does agree, and he does replace them.
yeah, but the downside
and we get
is
the shots.
But I will say you do not get the shot if you dunk your camera in bat shit.
Yeah, especially if the microchip.
Yeah,
gets
you don't
beat.
get the you don't
Or a
get
bucket
the
of
you don't
water
get yeah because
or a few other
the SD card no good. It was gone. It was
Shit it out.
because I was like, oh please just have the footage on here because I was on my way out of the cave.
I would be so.
I was on my way
bummed,
out
Brian.
of the cave
That's
and
fucked up.
and I no footage at all. It was all gone.
I would have
So,
been so peeved.
yeah, it was
All
it
right.
was a bummer.
So we got Luke says, "Hey again, guys. Always love the live podcast. Can't wait for all this to be over and for me to come and visit from Bristol, UK."
oh yeah, definitely. Did he have another one here? Because I see another one from Luke
Yes,
Smith
this is
here.
his down here, and it says, "Give me
Well-
1 second. Sorry." It says, "We had a program over here in the UK called the British Tribe
Okay.
next door, where they built an exact replica of a British house next to an African tribe. If you can watch it, it's really eye-opening."
Wow, that's actually
Sounds
pretty.
That
cool.
bizarre.
sounds
really-
fucked up. Why'd you do
Cool.
that?
It sounds great though. I would totally watch that. You know what I mean?
Why though? That's fucking with the people, man. Just leave them alone.
No, I like it. I like it.
Of course
the
you
British
do.
the British have always done that.
Of course
Yeah,
you
they
do.
love
You're the
fucking with other
fucking
people.
problem.
I know, right?
You're
Like
the
I want what
problem.
I want to do is go down to the Amazon and just pass out fucking iPhones.
And
All
just-
these guys.
I want to go down to the Amazon and just build a suburban area.
yeah,
I just
exactly.
want to
They could
make
tear-
suburbs.
Tear the forest down. No one needs that shit.
No one needs a forest.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't-
On that note, let's check out.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell are we
Fuck
talking
the
about?
environment. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Let's go.
Oh,
Okay, no, I'm joking. Obviously,
Obviously.
Guys.
I know.
Go
We
ahead.
should
We got
wrap her up.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. No,
Country Bumpkin says, "I live in Troy. I can't wait to see you guys. You made me fall in love with snakes, and I got a corn snake named Slink now."
Hey, thank you,
Ah,
Bumpkin.
thanks, man. Yeah, and I can't wait. You know, you're right down the street from us. So
Yeah,
when
give
we
you a
open
gift.
up, hopefully, I don't know when, but I'm hoping
Nobody
we can-
does.
I'm hoping we can do some in-person tours by the end of the month. I really, really, really,
Let's
really,
not
really
get
hope
excited.
it. Yeah, but I hope. My fingers are crossed.
We
the
can
rest
cross
of
the
the rest
fingers.
of the country is doing that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
there's
shit.
there's like crazy shit opening
okay.
up all over the place.
I'm not ready yet.
You're not ready.
Hell no.
Why?
Okay,
Why?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Because, man, I'm still scared. I don't want to get people sick. I don't want to get myself sick.
Well, I think that we can get around
mediate that as
Yeah, we
much
can
as
mediate
possible.
that. If,
I'm
you
sure
know-
because we're scientists. We got this.
No, it's just simple things, man. I mean, if everyone's wearing
know.
a mask, you can't transmit it. If you wash your hands after touching stuff, you're not going to get. You
I
know, you
don't-
know what I'm saying? It's just it's not going to. It's I'm not going to say you can't, but it's going to knock it down tremendously. I think
know.
I think staying
guess.
home or everybody wearing masks and being smart is almost the same
When
thing.
has everybody been on the same page on anything? Never.
Never, right? Exactly.
So it's impossible.
So then we got to just do it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just.
I
nothing
don't know
else we
what
can-
the answer is. I'm not a fucking doctor.
I just know
The
that.
answer
So what's the
is
next super
you just
chat?
gotta let this shit run its course.
Yep.
Yeah,
Period.
I mean, I think
Because
that we
that's
almost have
life,
no
and that's
choice.
what you have to
Yeah.
do.
Well, you
Man,
know,
we
the
don't
interesting
know.
thing, I don't want to get too deep into it, but, you know, the interesting thing is they said that once we hit 1% of the population that had,
Yeah.
you can no longer control it, right? We are definitely over 1%. I
Yeah.
mean, we are far
Yeah.
over 1% because we have about 1% confirmed cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all know that there's about 10 times the confirmed cases that we don't have confirmed. So we're probably somewhere between 7 and 10% of the population of America has it. We can't control it anymore. There's
Yeah,
no
you
controlling
just have to let
it.
it happen.
That's
It's,
what I'm
you know,
saying.
Unfortunate, but
Try to protect the vulnerable
Yeah.
and just let it run its course.
Yeah.
then
and the
you'll
rest
be
of us
fine.
will get through it.
Well, I hope so. But I mean, I just think that we can't. To stay inside, we'd have to stay inside for the next.
Ever?
Till the vaccine.
Yeah. No, pretty much. I mean, and then what if they just are like, "Hey, we don't want to. Can't make a
Yeah.
vaccine."
So I think we have no choice but
Yeah.
to get to it. So all right, keep
Next one is from T Mac, and it says, "Always glad to watch the podcast. Haven't missed one yet, Brian. When will we get a George story again? And maybe next week."
going. Next week we're going to talk about George. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk about. It'll be deep.
It'll be deep.
It'll be deep.
All right,
Let's
I'll
do
be
it then.
prepared.
I'm
All
ready
right.
for next week.
We got Jimmy says should come to Drummond Island.
Oh,
this
Drummond
summer.
Island is great. That's where Aaron goes. Aaron Jones. That's our
Yep.
good friends go to Drummond. He has a cabin on Drummond Island, and he
Family
loves it. So I've
place.
seen tons of pictures there. It looks really
pretty.
beautiful. Really, really
Yep.
beautiful. Yeah.
Dope. We got Country Bumpkin just threw another $1.50 just for love.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We got 20 from Latros. Says, loving the podcast tonight. Think I'm going to rewatch them all again.
Well, thank you so
Hey,
much. We
shout out
appreciate
you.
it. We love. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I love the podcast.
I'm hungry. That's how I feel.
I know. Sorry, Noah. Hang in there for 5 or 10 more minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
You were out of the house for like 2 hours. You'll
I
be
know,
okay.
You'll be okay.
You're
Let's
going to
go.
make it, brother. All right. So Jose's through $5 just says, keep it up.
Thanks, man. Thanks,
$5
Jose.
from Eric says, love you guys. I'm building a feature enclosure in my home and want an active diurnal display snake. What would you
okay.
recommend?
Oh, let's see. Active diurnal.
Crebo?
Crebo would be great. I mean,
what I would
it's
do.
super, super active, super
Big,
diurnal. They
impressive.
love to move around. So it just depends on what your display is, you know. Obviously, some other rat snakes are an option if you want something that's a little bit cheaper and a little bit more accessible than a Crebo. They're diurnal, most of them, and they can be pretty active. So there's lots of options. Yeah. Eric.
Mike, that jeweler guy, says, gotta grow a bunch of weed to save the environment.
Yeah.
Of course, you
Fucking
burn it,
true,
so
man.
it kind of negates that.
Yeah. It's,
Carbon in,
I like
carbon
the
out.
you're thinking
It's okay.
smart,
Equal
right?
balance, though, because it balances out the out because you're growing the in.
That's right. No,
So actually
that
you're-
makes your net zero.
Net zero. And who knows?
Carbon.
Maybe when you grow, it actually negates more than you blow.
It might be
Maybe.
right.
Grow more than
Grow
you
more
blow.
than you blow.
Yeah, maybe just grow twice as
There's
much
your
as you
campaign
smoke.
slogan, dude. Run for president.
Grow more than you blow.
That's
There
a
you
good
go.
idea.
We have a couple slogans now. We made one a few episodes back on the Choices podcast.
What was
yeah,
it?
what was it?
I forgot. But it's,
But it was a good one.
it was a good one. It really was a good one, but I don't remember.
So we got Amy says, "Hey Barcheck fam, love Amy and the kids in the UK."
Thank you
Hey,
so
thank
much,
you
Amy.
so much.
Thanks, you guys. Sorry for the kids. and the
Murphy wants to
swearing.
know where the hell Lori's podcast is.
We just haven't got there. We're so busy.
The hardest thing is honestly just we're trying to been figuring out this
The
Skype call,
thing and
Zoom
the
call,
Skype
whatever
call.
it is.
Yeah, because it'd be hard for Lori to be down here for even a half hour by yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you need somebody. You
wants
need
that.
well, even I talk a lot, and I'd have a hard time carrying a podcast without somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you not
Especially
only
week
have to
after week.
talk it.
Maybe 1 week it'd be a banger, but like week
Yeah.
after week, you just sometimes need somebody to
it'd
stimulate
be-
conversation.
it'd be hard, but
I want
we'll get it. We'll get it.
So we got Boss Hams says, "Hey from your friends over the pond in Wisconsin."
Yeah,
pond. Shout out
that's a small
Wisconsin.
pond.
The little
Yeah,
pond.
That's a small pond, yeah.
The puddle.
Which, by the way, we were just talking about. You know that Wisconsin gave us the UP.
Yeah. It's
So
a cool
thank
story.
you, thank you, Wisconsin.
That is true,
Appreciate it.
actually.
Yeah, thank you, Wisconsin.
Yeah, thanks.
We appreciate you.
You
KDM.
suck to drive through.
Super salty.
Super salty. I think someone stole my Reptarian poster.
Oh.
Beth is sending me a new one though. That's Beth.
That
Damn,
bitch.
I'm sorry.
Beth probably stole
Beth,
it.
Lori, fire her tomorrow.
I'm sorry, Katie.
How dare you send her an extra
No,
one?
let me just tell you,
No,
just for
thanks.
anybody out there who ordered merch,
Yeah.
Michigan got hit
Yeah, really
some of the
hard.
hardest with this pandemic.
Yeah.
And that has affected our postal
Yeah.
service
So
like you
much.
wouldn't even believe. So
Yeah.
our stuff is taking so
Yeah,
long.
we've ordered stuff
Because
for weeks
honestly,
ago, yeah.
I went 2 days ago to the post office to drop stuff off. It was
Yeah.
closed because they didn't have enough workers to work.
Yeah. Oh my
Because of
gosh.
this. Let alone, and that's
Yeah.
just my post office. So just so you know, everything is taking
Yeah,
weeks
they were
and
like-
weeks and weeks. We have sent it out. We'll send you the tracking. But let me tell you, I'm sorry.
But in the meantime,
It's
yeah.
hard,
But in the meantime,
you
we'll
know?
send you another one,
Yeah.
and you might get two eventually.
Yeah.
Which is no problem at all. But
Yeah, we've been waiting on a hard drive
Yeah,
for
hard
like
drive.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be here 3 days, and it's
Yeah.
been 2.5 weeks. And Laura, you told me that they were literally like shipping Detroit's mail to Traverse City,
they
way
just
up north.
started
Wow.
going back to Detroit now. I noticed
Yeah.
this last week. Prior to that, they were rerouting it further north
Yeah.
because Detroit was hit so hard. And obviously,
Crazy.
those cities aren't used to getting that volume. So there we go. That's
Yeah,
been our
no,
issue.
yeah.
All right. Joey says, "Ever go to the expos downriver?"
I do not. Some of the crew goes. But I just don't do reptile shows. We don't really do reptile shows, and we might do, like, if Tinley comes back in October, I might go.
Yeah.
To Tinley in October, not
love
to
to go.
Ven, just to go.
Yeah, just to hang out.
But I don't do the Taylor one. No.
All right, we got Dash NY says, "Hey guys, just saying hello. It's me, Angel from New York. I love you guys."
Hey, what's going
Thanks,
on?
Dash.
Thank you. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you beyond belief.
Country Bumpkin threw another $5 just for
thank
love.
you. You've
Thank
been
you,
great
Country.
to us. Country, you've been awesome today. Murphy's been on it too, man.
Yeah, Justin Martin is trying to get your attention. It says.
Justin Martin.
Shout out
Let's see where
Justin.
this is. Justin,
And
my
my
1-year-old daughter turned
on
one.
May 1st, and birthday shout outs from our favorite people ever. So pretty much wish her daughter a
Happy birthday.
Happy
Turned
birthday,
one
daughter.
On May 1st. Our daughter
Justin's
is.
daughter.
Happy birthday, Justin daughter.
Yeah.
And Justin.
Yeah, our daughter.
And Reggie the anaconda.
our daughter's birthday is May 2nd.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. You almost have the same burden.
All right.
Burden.
you
Well,
almost have the same burden this
Same
week, Harry.
birthday, same
You
burden.
got the same burden. It's going to last forever. It's not going away.
It does, man. It really does last forever. Huh?
So here's the last one. It's from Dwight, and it says, "What is your opinion on the breeding of a super pastel butter Enchi female bred to the banana Mojave male I got from you guys a few weeks ago?"
I think that's absolutely perfect match.
Let's see. We got a super pastel butter Enchi banana
Nailed it.
Mojave.
Get some dope stuff.
I
for
think
sure.
you got it, man.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great because banana goes with all that stuff really well. You obviously have everything's going to be pastel.
But you might-
got Enchi Mojave stuff is really good. So
Yeah,
banana
yeah.
Enchi Motley stuff. We got some butter Enchi stuff, banana butter Enchi stuff today. That was
yeah.
dope. So yeah, I think it's a great combo. 100%. You're good.
And then the last one just says, "Carol Baskin killed her husband. That dumb
Amen.
bitch."
Oh my gosh.
There you go, Aaron.
I don't believe it. Did you? I know we got to go, but did you? I told you right that Nick Cage is supposed to be playing Joe Exotic.
I heard that
I hope
yesterday.
Nicolas-
I forgot I was
Cage.
going to bring that up. Yeah,
In
that they
what?
said
In
he's going
Joe
to
Exotic,
play
he's
Joe
gonna play-
Exotic.
In what?
In Tiger King, they're
They're
doing
going
like
to do.
a
They're
like
not
a
doing a movie. They're doing a TV thing.
TV thing.
TV thing. What's
Like
a
a TV
A
movie,
show?
Like a
Like a
series,
Think
like a
about it,
drama
though.
series.
He fits.
Another show?
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's
Dude,
the
it's gonna be
perfect
so
fit for
good.
Joe
A show for the
Exotic.
show?
Look at this, man.
Dude, it's gonna be so good.
He does. Oh wow.
It's gonna work.
Scary, right?
he's
is
he's just crazy
I
enough.
think they might be related.
Maybe.
And
I actually love Nick Cage, by the way.
Me too. I agree.
oh, okay.
Funny
It's
J pronunciation.
my pronunciation. It was "Let Roses Burn." I didn't see that it was whole one
Oh,
word. But
yeah.
thanks for your hard work. And then
Thank
Country
you.
Bumpkin again says, "I love you guys so much." My
you're
name
so
is Maya.
Maya.
thank
Well,
you.
Thank you. We have
Maya.
we have a
Maya.
Crebo named
Maya.
Maya.
It's
Yeah.
such a weird way to spell Maya because it's literally my, like
Maya.
I own that, and then
Maya.
you
I
just
forgot
add an A at
Maya.
the end,
Maya.
Maya, instead of the
Maya
the
Court Country. Maya Country Bumpkin.
There's my country.
Hollow Moonshine says, "Brian, have you ever had?"
Anolus Coriolis.
They were pretty good.
Obviously, that's my
He
favorite
had
thing
it
to.
once when he was.
It's
18.
actually
I love Anolus.
it's actually
I get it on my birthday. That's
it's
it.
actually
I like to dish out.
it's actually
the Anolus.
it's Anolus carolinensis.
Oh,
yes.
Carol Baskin.
Oh, yes, the
carolinensis. Those are green anoles that you find down in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, those are
Makes
green
sense.
anoles.
Carolina.
Getting my
And of course, yeah, I mean everyone's
Geography.
everyone's had the anoles,
Yeah.
chameleons as they
Anoles.
called them back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah, chameleons.
What?
They used to call them chameleons.
well, it's
yeah.
true that everyone does have an Anolus.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Every human has an Anolus.
Yeah, at least. Well, some have a
Some have
stoma.
two.
I actually
some have a stoma.
I was going to ask you.
You're gonna
brought-
ask
No, you.
the Anolus?
Yeah, exactly. So this is you brought it up. You said it earlier in the vlog, and it was
sure
very
I did.
or
Podcast, but it's fine.
Whatever it is, about being anal. And I thought to
Anal.
myself, that's just a really weird saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm very anal about things.
Well, it's because typically a
anal
lot of people
retentive.
don't like anal. So you're like, oh, if I don't like that, I'm
well,
anal
I think
about
it's,
it.
I think yeah, I know it's anal retentive, but I just think it's weird. It's a weird.
It's a
saying.
really weird thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like because so many
Yeah.
people say, "Yeah, I'm really anal about the way I fix my desk up."
Yeah.
You're like,
Which I am. I'm super anal about it.
yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I
Everything's
just think, I
facing
just
up.
think it's a
super anal.
weird,
That should be a superhero. Super anal.
super.
And his thing is just like pissed off. Like he just corrects things.
He's,
Like,
like,
if
moving
something's like this, he moves it to line it up. That's his superpower.
That's a good one.
He
Let's make
tightens
it.
everything up, dude.
Make it.
Super anal.
Yeah,
He just
super
tightens
anal.
everything
Coming
up.
to Bad Choice Now.
That's what it's called. Just tightening up. Super anal.
Murphy.
Just tightening up.
Murphy gave us one more at the end. Thank you so much, Murphy. You've
thanks,
been through
Murphy.
the whole thing.
Thanks,
and thank you guys.
Murph.
Thanks everyone that's been hanging out in the chat
Yes.
tonight, hanging with us and stuff like that.
Killing
you guys
it.
are absolutely amazing.
Vibing.
So, sorry, take us out. No.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you guys are subscribed. 90% aren't subscribed, so subscribe, okay? Thank you for
Subscribe,
watching.
guys.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the next one. You've been checked in. We're checking out. Peace.
Peace.